All right, brake tapping already underway. Northbound 65 up to the south loop, and then northbound north loop. That is very heavy. So is both directions of 40 between downtown and the 440 split. Looking up here in Hermitage, intersection of Lebanon Pike and Old Hickory Boulevard. Man, that is a parking lot, both directions of Lebanon Pike. And then Old Hickory Boulevard just to the north there of Lebanon Pike. I'm Ken Weaver.
It is hotter than blue blazes in the middle of Tennessee, and we have just started the radio show and very happy to be here. It's 3:07. Good afternoon. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Please, you've decided to join us today, whatever time you're able to give us. We are certainly appreciative of it. I haven't even changed my sheet over from yesterday, so I'm going to do this on the fly. Let's see if I can do it without notes. It is episode 1079 of our visits together on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. They started from noon until 3, transitioned until the afternoon to the afternoon drive slot from 3 until 7. About a year and a half ago or so now. We're on a variety of platforms. You can find us, obviously, on your radio dial. We appreciate you. If you're stuck in traffic on I-65 northbound because they're weed-eating the interstate, congratulations. I was there with you just moments ago. We'll also be broadcasting on, if not already, Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. And, of course, there's many different places you can find us on the interweb. Obviously, we have our streaming at 997WTN.com. You can find us on TuneIn, Spotify, iHeart. We have our own app. I don't know if the app itself is updated. I noticed that it's a little behind the times in terms of, like, show schedules. But it is current on the podcast side of things or on the streaming side of things. You can find us. Just type in Supertalk 99.7 WTN and take us wherever you'd like to go. And the aforementioned Talk TV is up and running thanks, in part, to young Jackson Williams, who's behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers, whatever speakers you might be listening to, however you might be listening, sounds as good as humanly possible. Then behind the glass, gathering news headlines and delivering them twice an hour when it breaks, there's the one and only Ken Weaver. Hello, Ken.
How about you boys?
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Hey, Ken, what is it called? If folks go over to that Talk TV.
Yes, sir.
You know they do that from time to time.
Sir.
They like looking at your beard.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, they like commenting on it. And if they went over there, what is we ask them to, give us the old thumbs up, right? Like, subscribe, thumbs up. What is that charge for today?
Absolutely nothing, boys. Yeah.
Do us that favor, would you? Just give us the old thumbs up, the digital hello, the little digital wave. It helps us out on our digital platform, and we certainly would appreciate you. More and more folk. Ken,
yes, sir?
As we sit here, more and more people. When we started in this business, Ken, back in the black and white days, as Jackson likes to say, back in the olden times.
Yeah.
They did not. There was none of this digital nonsense.
No,
there was none of this interweb.
No, sir.
There was none of that. It was the radio, and that was about it.
That was it.
Mm-hmm. And then of course they invented TV, and Ken and I we watched the invention of TV back in the day, and that was a fun time.
It was.
They said that they said television would kill radio, Ken.
They did.
They said video would kill the radio star. And it didn't happen.
It hasn't.
No, and it's not killing us now either because we're moving on over to the digital online platforms.
We're like Pappy O'Daniel. We mass communicate.
Not one at a time in here, nitwit. We mass communicate. We are. Hey, you know what? I'm not going to come in and complain. I'm not going to do it. I did that yesterday and I got in trouble. By the way, Ken, I meant to send this to you. I got a great email.
Okay.
I I won't be able to. I'm going to paraphrase it. Oh, it was good. I have it pretty much down. The tenor of the email was pretty good. Oh, y'all, it was so good. Here's the basic premise.
Okay.
Hey, Murphy, nice to see that you and Sonny Hostin have something in common. She's trying to get her kid off trespassing charges, and you're mouthing off on the radio trying to get out of a ticket for having too dark a tint on your vehicle. Way to go, buddy. Maybe you can get a place on The View. Like, whoa. Number one, I've never claimed to be a former federal prosecutor. How dare you? I have not. I am a talk show host. And number two, I was not trying to get out of my ticket. As a matter of fact, I will have all of y'all know that I had an unnamed person contact me and say, "What's up with that? You want me to look at?" And I was like, "No, I don't. That's not the point. The point is, I figured something out last night, Ken.
Okay.
I don't think tint should be a primary offense. I think it should be like, aren't seatbelts a secondary offense in Tennessee?
I'm not sure.
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
That they can't stop you for it, but if they stop you and they notice that you're in the middle of it, I'm going to ask that question at some point once we get away from this nasty ticket business, and see if we can't turn this into a secondary offense in the state of Tennessee, or at very least, I'm trying to figure out how it is that someone sells a product to me that they know is illegal to operate as one would operate. So I thought about this last night, too, and I'm not going to belabor the tent story. If you didn't hear, I got a ticket yesterday. A state trooper pulled me over and told me that my tent was too dark. I've had that truck for 4 years. I bought it that way in Tennessee 4 years ago, and my question was, all right, fine, if it's over the tent limit, it's over the tent limit, but do I not have an expectation that when I go on a car dealership lot and I buy a vehicle with 7,000 or 8,000 miles on it, that it's legally allowed to be on Tennessee roadways? Should I not have that expectation that it is? And then I thought, I bet you there's a law somewhere requiring that car dealerships sell vehicles that are roadworthy.
Ah.
Now, if it's illegal, is it roadworthy? I don't think so.
By the way.
Yes, sir.
They can pull you over solely for not wearing a seatbelt.
Oh, so that's not a secondary offense. Well, I'm not going to win that.
And according to Tennessee traffic safety.
Not going to win that argument, I don't guess. But I'm gonna work on the other argument, which is I think I know what the answer is. The answer is that the car dealership lobby in the General Assembly is a hell of a lot more important than the I want my dark tent lobby. And so the car dealership lobby, they say, well, you can't possibly expect us to blah, 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 blah. And they hide behind this nonsense of, well, they don't know that you're good. So this is what I got. I got a lot of this yesterday, too. So I get pulled over for tent. I thought the officer was going to give me off with a warning. I was like, I bought the truck this way. He's like, well, whatever. And I was like, why is it legal for them to sell me a vehicle that is not legally operable on Tennessee roadways? And he basically sloughed me off and it was like, whatever, here's your ticket for $193.50. So I'm thinking to myself, so they can sell this vehicle and they hide behind this loophole of, well, you don't have to operate it on the roads. It's like, what? I mean, that's the excuse. Is that, well, they don't. You could be putting that in a showroom somewhere, or you could just be driving it on the back 40 on your property in Mount Pleasant. It's like, shut up.
That's a powerful lobby.
Ray says it used to be a secondary offense. $99.25. Time to get your orange crayon and $140. Maybe I'm going to talk to St. Clair about it. I didn't call Jay this morning. Well, one, I was in the yard most of the morning, but two, I didn't call him. You know why, Ken?
Why's that?
Because I know what Jay's going to tell me.
What's he going to tell you?
He's
just pay the ticket and stop whining.
Exactly. That's what he's going to say. That's what he's going to tell me. He's going to say, was your tent too dark? And I'm going to say, yeah, I guess it was. And he's going to say, well, pay the ticket and stop whining.
Well, it's like that one old boy that said he was law enforcement was telling you is the first time you go to court, that trooper won't even be there.
That's right.
So you'll have to go all the way down there, and then the judge will have to set a date.
which I'm thinking about doing.
I know you are.
Just because I want to be a pain in the ass.
Just because.
That state trooper, you know what he was? He was a pain in my ass. and I love law. Look, I love police and I love law enforcement and I appreciate what y'all do. And I know y'all are laying it on the line every day and I love you. And big listeners of those law enforcement officers.
Yes, sir.
And we love every single one of you,
yes, sir.
Even when y'all are ticking me off. Even when you're being a pain in my officer. What was his name? I won't say it. Officer, you know who you are. You pull me over for that ticket. Or that tent on I-65 for no good reason. You just didn't have anything better to do. God bless you. I love you. I appreciate you laying it on the line, but you were a pain in my arse yesterday. So, but I don't understand how the car dealerships can do that. Anyway.
That's a powerful lobby.
It is. Oh, we got to get you some of that. We got to get us some of that reform. We got to get us some of that reform.
How about we hire ourselves a little fella even smaller?
Is you is, or is you ain't, my constituency. By the way, I think that movie about Ulysses and the Odyssey, it apparently is a hell of a lot less woke than the new one.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Everybody's
the
slamming.
New one's woke?
That's what they're saying.
Oh, man.
But I don't know. Sometimes my conservative buddies overreact to this crap. And I don't want to overreact to it. They're all mad because Helen of Troy's a black lady, and they don't feel like that is necessarily correct. The argument was made that if you set a historical piece and you try to keep it as historically accurate as humanly possible, and I get this criticism, right?
Yeah,
you're doing a piece based on a piece of literature that was set in a particular time of history and was reflecting on actual events, right?
Right.
So you do that, and you want to be as accurate as possible in the telling of this fictional story. It's a piece of fiction, obviously. So you're telling this fictional story, but you're trying to be as period accurate as possible, but instead of being as period of accurate as possible with all of the actors and actresses, you're intentionally cross-casting, and I think they had there's a transgender person playing Achilles.
And are they making a point to identify that person that way?
I don't know.
See, that's the issue that I have is whenever they make it, like they just shove it down your throat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, particularly in a film that it doesn't need it.
It doesn't need it at all.
Like, if y'all want to make a movie about that, that's cool. I'm sure that 14 people will go see your movie. That's awesome. I just want to know what I'm walking into. That's all. But, yeah, so is a far better retelling of Ulysses. Remember who was the Cyclops in the...
That was John Goodman.
John Goodman. Absolutely. Had a little lunch on the grounds and then started whooping up on them.
See what you got in the hole.
Let's see what you got in the hole. He squishes that. Oh my God!
Ain't nothing but a damn toe.
He squished Everett. What, Everett?
No, Pete.
Oh, Pete. Squished Pete. They turned him into a horny toad. Looks like I'm the only one that's unaffiliated. Y'all be careful if you're heading up I-65 toward Nashville, Tennessee, because Nashville, Tennessee has decided, the Department of Transportation has decided that 3 o'clock in the afternoon on one of the hottest days of the year is a good time to weed eat the interstate. I'm not knocking them. I mean, I'm sure they got a schedule to keep and all, but that's what they were doing when I was coming up. Yeah. 3784 says, I pass 20 cars a day with their windshields tinted. Why aren't they busting them? I believe it's because you're white. Well, I mean, my tent is pretty dark, and I don't think you can tell what color I am if you're standing right next to my door, can you?
I wonder if I wonder if he saw that big Georgia Bulldog emblem on the front of your truck.
I thought about that, Ken. I thought about that. I have a little emblem on the back of the truck.
Oh.
That says HBTFD. And I wonder if that triggered him. Maybe he's a Tennessee fellow. You know what I mean?
Maybe he just profiled you knowing how Georgia alumni drive.
I was going the speed limit, though, Jackson. We're doing better.
Yeah, he pulled up alongside him and was
He did.
driving with him.
He did. Pulled right on line and then whipped right behind me and whoo! And there we go. It is hot outside. It is hot as blue blazes outside. Y'all be careful if you're out and about. I was out earlier today. I had some yard work that I had to get done. I got stymied over the weekend because of weather and some other issues, and I had to get the yard work done this a.m., and I got out there about 10 o'clock this morning, fellas, and I wished that I'd gotten up earlier and gotten it done at 8 o'clock in the morning instead of 10 o'clock in the morning because it was hot. Hot. Hotter than 40 hells. Hotter than two squirrels making out in a wool sock.
You want me to tell you what the heat index is right now, Brother Murphy?
I do not. What's the temperature, Ken?
Temperature's 94 degrees at Nashville International Airport.
94 degrees, and it's humid, so that means it feels hotter. Ooh!
51% humidity.
51% humidity. I bet that, let me guess.
Okay.
94 degrees, 51% humidity. I'm going to guess that the local weather people are saying that that it feels 142 degrees outside. 142, Ken. That's my official guess. Jackson, you want to guess? My guess is 142. That's where I think we are right now.
In the real feels?
In the heat index.
Like.
The feels like real feel heat index.
102.
Brother Jackson is closest without going over. 104.
104. Okay. So 10 degrees. Feels 10 degrees hotter than it actually is.
Or for our friends who are still here from the World Cup, it is 34 degrees Celsius, but it feels like 40 degrees Celsius.
See, my man, Ken Weaver, he's such, what a jewel, what a gem that we have here. He understands how to expand the reach of this radio program, and that's what he's doing right there. He knows.
We just picked up a whole bunch of World Cup.
Oh my gosh! They're like, they're talking to us. I don't know what accent I'm trying to do, but whatever accent I'm trying to do. Oh, zutalo! They are talking to us. Oh, he used the Celsius poo-poo.
France has been out for a minute.
Yeah, they got plenty. That's why they're hanging out in Nashville, bud, along with the Germans. The Germans got nothing to do with it. 23 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I might have a bit of heat stroke. We will talk about the ongoing conflict in Iran. We will talk to Monty Fritz, gubernatorial candidate extraordinaire. Now, we had John Rose on yesterday, and we did not have an opportunity. We were so busy yesterday. We didn't have a chance to get your reaction to John Rose's interview. Did you hear it? What did you think? I'd be curious to hear about that. At 3:35 this afternoon, we'll briefly talk with our good friend Gloria Giorno about an event that we're doing this weekend with Nick Shirley. Y'all know Nick Shirley. He does great work. He will be in town this Sunday afternoon. Nick Shirley on Sunday. Nobody's going to be here on Friday. Well, we'll be here on Friday.
We'll be here on Friday.
Yeah. But no Nick Shirley on Friday. He's on Sunday, like I say.
Yes.
It's 23 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hi, friends. It's Matt Murphy for King & Associates Insurance. I talked to you quite a bit about King & Associates when it comes to homeowners insurance and automobile insurance. Now I want to talk to you about something a little more serious, although, obviously, homeowners and automobile insurance is a serious matter. I want to talk to you about life insurance. If you have children or if you have family members, loved ones that you cherish, life insurance is not about you so much as it is about them. And life insurance is for them to make sure that as their world is rocked in your absence, it is not financially rocked as well. You want to make sure that their life doesn't completely turn over overnight as a result of a lack of insurance. King & Associates can find you an insurance policy, a life insurance policy that fits your budget with no pressure, no confusion, just options that fit your family and what you're trying to do. Call today to find out more at 615-329-8121, 329-8121, or online at kinginsurance.com. King & Associates Insurance.
All right, so we're going to go from a heat advisory to the risk of severe weather tonight. That's going to be a level 2 out of 5 for everybody north of Murfreesboro, level 1 out of 5 for everybody else. And President Trump says the U.S. is prepared to continue to attack Iran. We'll let you hear what he says coming up at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. So much appreciated. Yeah, there's a nasty line of storms in northern Kentucky.
Yes, sir. It's dumping a lot of rain, man.
Looks really, really brutal up there. I mean, and that line, did you see where that line's running? That line, there's a line running from
Pittsburgh,
Madisonville. Is that Kentucky? Maybe.
Shoot, it's running all the way from New York back to Evansville, Indiana.
Yeah, it's. I got it in. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah,
heavy rain.
Big old rain maker. So we're expecting. What's that Bertha do? Hey, I love the name Bertha.
Yeah, that's a cool name.
That's a great name. We need to bring old Bertha back.
Yes.
Sadly, I don't think it's ever going to happen because Callaway called one of their drivers, one of their big old drivers, Big Bertha.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I've ever met a Bertha that wasn't hefty.
I don't know if I've ever known a Bertha.
I mean, if a skinny woman walked into the room with you, Ken, and put her hand out and introduced herself as Bertha, you would go, what?
Yeah.
You don't expect that. But, Bertha's a big old girl down there in the Gulf of Mexico, and she's
she's a tropical
storm. All right, tropical storm. And
she's going to hit Louisiana tomorrow.
Are we getting any of that?
Nope, it doesn't say we're going to get much of the remnants of that.
Uh-huh.
I think probably because it's going more west than it is up, going north.
It's going west?
Yeah, it's going west.
Oh, that's weird.
It is.
I mean, normally they're north or north to east.
Yeah, this was going west.
Well, it's got to be that climate change, guys, that Al Gore was telling us about.
Let somebody move the fan.
Maybe. That might be it. Or that El Niña, whatever the hell those things are.
Right.
31 after the hour. I'll get to, Angie, y'all hang in there. Rick, you hang in there as well. We're going to get to you. Rick wants to talk about the Rose interview. Hey, did you see this endorsement that Charlie Hatcher got last couple of days? I guess this was actually, I heard about this last week. A friend of the show told me about this last week, and I failed to mention it this past Friday. Former Tennessee Governor Bill Haslam has come out and this is not typical for Republicans, but he has endorsed in a Republican primary election. Haslam has endorsed Charlie Hatcher. Is Charlie Hatcher making any waves in District Number 5? I got to figure out who I'm voting for. I think I'm probably voting for Charlie Hatcher.
He's the one who brought us that chocolate milk, right?
He is. I don't endorse candidates, but I'm happy to tell you who I'm planning on voting for. And I'll tell you, if the vote was happening today, I'm voting for Charlie Hatcher. I feel like Andy Ogles thus far has been all hat, no cattle. And some of his ethical lapses concern me. That's just where I'm at. I'm not telling you where to be. I'm just telling you where I'm at. 615-737-9986. Back in a moment.
Heat advisory remains in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. We could reach 110 degrees on the heat index in places across Middle Tennessee. In fact, earlier today, we had a couple of folks tell us they were at 108. I believe that was Dixon. It was 114, a fella there in Madison. Cold front, though, going to bring us some storms tonight. Very low-level threat for tornadoes, but nonetheless, it'll be a level 2 out of 5 risk for everybody north of Murfreesboro. A level 1 out of 5 risk for everybody Murfreesboro and south. The main concern, damaging winds and then flash flooding. The flood threat with this thing is going to last from 6 p.m. tonight until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. We're talking about nighttime, so make sure you've got some way to get an alert if there is a flash flood warning. President Trump says the U.S. is prepared to continue to attack Iran and also told reporters in the Oval Office today the U.S. is ready to strike an area called Pickaxe Mountain where nuclear materials may be held.
We'll be hitting that area probably pretty soon, and there's not a thing they can do about it. Normally I wouldn't say that. If I thought they could do something about it, I would never say that. But We'll be hitting that area pretty soon.
Yeah, the administration now asking Congress for an additional $87 billion to fund the war. Federal appeals court today clearing the way for the Justice Department to release tapes of former President Joe Biden's interviews with his biographer from a decade ago. ABC's Peter Haralambous has more.
Biden first sued the Department of Justice in May to try to block the release of the recordings and transcripts from the making of his 2017 memoir. But a divided three-judge panel from the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled on Tuesday that there was substantial public interest in releasing the materials. Republicans in Congress and the Conservative Heritage Foundation demanded the records be released after former special counsel Robert Hur obtained the recordings while investigating Biden's alleged mishandling of classified documents. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Stop and go brake tapping, northbound North Loop, eastbound 440 over to 2440. There when it merges with 24 at the 440 split, man, that is coming to a complete stop. And then it's a parking lot eastbound 24 all the way beyond Briley Parkway. Been seeing some really heavy traffic over here in Hermitage. We're talking about that intersection of Lebanon Pike and Old Hickory Boulevard. Both directions of Old Hickory Boulevard there just north of Lebanon Pike. Really backed up. Checking the construction 65 northbound through Goodlettsville. That's about the same as it is every day this time. And then you got the usual slowdown trying to get over to Jolton, westbound 24 just north of Briley Parkway. I'm Ken Weaver.
It's hot outside, but fellas, if things are not heating up in the bedroom like you had hoped that they would, and you feel like maybe you've reached a point in your life where you need to check on something or need to check on a lot of some things, or you don't know what you need to check on, but you know the performance levels have gone down, this is not the end for you fellas. It's not 1976, it's 2026. It's time to get to the Tennessee Men's Clinic. The Tennessee Men's Clinic can alleviate those issues, but you need a professional, and you want to look one-on-one. You want to work one-on-one with a person, look them in the eye, and figure out what's going on inside of your body that's causing this impact, right? And oftentimes it's testosterone levels. That is a common issue, but it's not always testosterone. That's why you need the qualified urologist at Tennessee Men's Clinic. Don't trust a website. Don't trust some telephone number on a screen somewhere. Don't trust some mailer where you don't know where the pills came from or whatever. And sometimes these pills don't work. You need to trust the qualified local experts, the Tennessee Men's Clinic. They can help. They are in Nashville. They also have locations in Cool Springs, Clarksville up north, and the Cool Springs location is Franklin, and then Murfreesboro is a brand new location. Very excited about the new Murfreesboro shop. Give them a call today and schedule that appointment for less than $100. They can figure out what's going on inside of your body and give you a plan of action, a plan of success. 615-208-9090, 208-9090. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I thank all of you for joining the show, listening in. Whatever platform you might be on, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeart, our own app, Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, of course, the radio dial, 99.7 FM, television, radio, YouTube, etc. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Monty Fritz coming up in the next hour. John Henry will be along in the 5 o'clock hour. He is the third candidate, or the third major candidate. I don't know if there are any others running in the 6th Congressional District with Johnny Garrett, Van Hillary, and John Henry, the three individuals in that race. Your telephone calls until then. Right now, I want to join Gloria, who's on the line with us. Gloria Giorno is with the Reagan Society. We've been talking about this wonderful event coming up this Sunday, and I don't know if tickets are still available or not, but I have, a little birdie has told me that Gloria might have a couple of tickets right in her possession. Hey, Gloria, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great. You getting excited about the event?
Yes, I am. I'm very excited about the event, and I'm excited that you're going to be there with us to be able to welcome Nick, and we'll be able to have a great conversation with an American hero.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. For those that don't know, I mean, Nick Shirley, I hope that you know his name. If you've been listening to Super Talk 99.7 WTN for any length of time, You've heard us talk about the great work that he's doing that sadly the mainstream media will not do. Nick Shirley has taken up that mantle and run with it, and he's done fabulous work in Minnesota. He's done great work in California. We look forward to talking to him about those things. What can people expect if people already have tickets or they're thinking about getting tickets? What can people expect?
What they can expect is, first we want to thank Brent Taylor, Brent Taylor for sponsoring this event. Trump-endorsed candidate for the Congressional District number 9. We're very excited that President Trump did endorse him, and he will be joining us, and he's sponsoring the event. They can also expect Craig Campbell is going to be singing for us, and they can expect a very interactive, engaging conversation with Nick. You and Nick will be taking questions from the audience, so everybody will be able to participate. It won't just be someone speaking. It'll be all Americans being able to participate, and that's what makes our country so great, that we all get to have a part in it.
Well, one of the reasons that I'm so pleased that the Reagan Society selected Nick Shirley to be their featured speaker this year is, I mean, primarily because of the good work that he's doing, and it highlights the work that our quote-unquote journalists do not do anymore, and that is focusing on the waste, fraud, and abuse. You know, for a long time, Gloria, I'm like, where is all this money going? How can we possibly be this amount of money in debt? With the amount of money that we send to Washington, D.C., it just seems almost impossible. But then you start digging into some of Shirley's reports where, I mean, there's billions and billions and billions being wasted annually in just a state like Minnesota, and you can imagine you extrapolate that across the country. I mean, it's just doing tremendous work, and I look forward to what the next chapter is going to be for Nick, you know?
I agree. I think Nick's going to, in my opinion, I think he's going to be doing a lot more exposing in many different states, and I know I was just in Illinois this past week, and people are very hopeful he's going to come to Illinois, especially Chicago, and start looking into the fraud there. But I think there's fraud to be found everywhere. And yeah, I mean, we should all be very proud of a young man who's 24 years old who is doing more than any news journalist is doing in the country at this point.
So we've got, it's my understanding that we have a couple of tickets that we can give away here.
Yes, we have a couple of tickets. We still do have a couple of tickets. So we have some tickets left for purchase. Not a lot, but very few.
Okay.
But we do have 2 tickets that we'd like to give away to your listeners. There are 2 tickets valued at $50 each, so they are general admission. And it's for this Sunday, and the event starts at 2, but the doors do open at 1. And we do need to email everyone 24 hours before to know exactly where to go. It is in Franklin and Cool Springs, but other than that, I'm not going to disclose more than that at this point.
That's good.
But everyone will know the day before. And so I'd like to have one of your listeners who gives us the correct answer to this question win these 2 tickets and join us on Sunday.
All right, Gloria's got a question, and this is a trivia question. This is Jackson's favorite thing to do, by the way, Gloria. He's giving me the stink eye because the phone lines just Jackson loves it when we give things away because the phone lines absolutely explode. So you have to answer a trivia question, and we're not going to tell you what. So should we tell them what the question is first? Yes, I think we should. All right. So Gloria's going to ask a question, and if you can attend this Sunday, doors opening at 1. It's in Franklin, and as Gloria just said, we're not going to give the specific location. It's sad that we have to be that way, but we do. And she asks the question, and if you know the answer, you can call in, and we'll see you on Sunday. So you ready to ask the question, Gloria?
Yes, I am.
All
Here
right.
we go.
Let's go.
Known as Mr. Conservative, which U.S. Senator from Arizona was the 1964 Republican nominee for president and helped ignite the modern conservative movement?
You are so generous to these folks. You know that? You're so sweet. That's so good of you. Because I can't imagine. I can't imagine that every single person won't know that that's John McCain. Oh, wait. No, I'm just kidding. That's a joke. I was making a joke. So, Gloria, while folks call in with that answer, let's remind people if they want to go, how they can get the few remaining tickets. Like you said, there's just a 1 or 2 or, there's just a few left. How could people go get them?
They can go to thereagansociety.com, and there's a link there that will take you to Eventbrite. And we probably I think we have like half a dozen tickets left.
Awesome.
And that's it. And it'll be a packed house. And I'd love for everybody to be a part of this event because it's not often that we get to bring in someone like Nick Shirley.
That's right.
So it is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and it'll be very interactive. And I'm really excited about it, and I hope everybody else is too.
Well, I'm very excited to be there. I'm very excited to be on stage with Nick, get an opportunity to say hello to him. I'm certain that there'll be, local city officials, county officials, state dignitaries there. Brent Taylor obviously will be there, and it's a great opportunity to meet him if you've never met Senator Taylor. So I think we've got our first guesser, and I've got Gloria locked in. It's Tyler. Hello, Tyler. How are you?
I'm doing quite well, Matt.
Tyler, will you be able to, should you get this question correct, will you be able to attend Sunday afternoon?
Yes, sir.
You will be. See, there was hesitation there, Tyler. That worries me. We gotta make sure you're going to be there. Well, you come say hello to me when you get there, okay?
Okay,
Because
sounds good.
I have such faith in you, Tyler. Do you need the question again?
No, sir. I have an answer, but no need for the question.
All right. Well, drum roll, please. Tyler, what's your answer?
Barry Goldwater.
Barry Goldwater is correct. Yay!
Hey.
Congratulations, you win.
Well, thank y'all. I appreciate that.
That's awesome, Tyler.
excitement.
I'm laughing at. I didn't tell Jackson that I needed Price is Right. I always like Price is Right music.
Da-da-da-da.
Yeah, you always like that. It's always fun. Tyler, here's what I'm going to do. We've got to get an email address from you, a name and an email address. So I'm going to. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm putting Tyler on hold. Congratulations to Tyler. Better luck next time for those of you calling in. Gloria, I'm so excited about this. Is there anything else we need to know about the event?
No, the only thing I can add is if anyone is interested, food and drink will be available for purchase. But otherwise, just, come celebrate America's 250th birthday with us. And that's what the Reagan Society has been doing all year. And we try to make politics affordable to everyone, and we're going to be around doing this for years to come. But this is a very special year, so come join us and meet Nick Shirley. And Matt, of course.
Well, Matt will be there somewhere, but Nick Shirley's the real guy that you want to say hello to. And Gloria will be there as well. Gloria, I look forward to it. Let me know if there's anything else we can do for you, and we'll see you on Sunday, okay?
Thanks so much, Matt.
Right.
Have a great day.
Take care. That's I gave Gloria the opportunity to ask the question, and she just, how nice is she? She's just giving you the old softball there. I say a softball. I feel like most people who are involved in politics know what a sea change in the 1960s Gary Goldwater was in front of, and he truly created a dynamic that produced Ronald Reagan, and Ronald Reagan obviously. Produced, Donald Trump, if you think about it. Angie is next up on the show. Angie, thank you for your call. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Matt?
Wonderful, Angie. Thank you.
I just wanted to tell you I feel your pain. I got stopped the other night coming home from work. I work in Monterey, and I was in Cookville and got pulled over by the city police. He comes up to my window and says, "Do you know why I stopped you?" "No, sir, I don't." He said, "Well, you almost hit a pedestrian." And I said, "No, I didn't. I'm not trying to argue with you, but I swerved a little so I wouldn't hit the pedestrian." And then he goes, "Well, have you been drinking?" And I'm like, "Here's my Mountain Dew. That's as strong as I drink." And then he goes, "Well, I don't have my card with me, but I think your windows are illegal." And I said, "Well, I bought the car this way." And he said, "Well, you might need to get that checked out." And I just thought, "You're an idiot."
Did he let you go with a warning?
He didn't even give me a warning. He's like, "Are you sure you're not drinking?" I said, "I'm extremely tired. I'm trying to get home. I'm 2 miles from home." And he's like, "Okay, well, just be careful. And next time I'll have my little card." And I'm thinking, I don't care if you have your little card or not. I'm not taking the 10 off these with us. Half of Cookville, Tennessee runs around with limo 10 on their cars.
Well,
I'm not doing it.
At least he was intelligent enough to know that he could not pull you up. I mean, I don't think he can give you a ticket unless he has that tent card. My guy had a tent card. I was hoping for a warning, but you know what? I got a good driving award that's only going to cost me $193.50.
Right. That's good because I've got one in the past years ago, and mine was $250.
Wow.
My tent was very illegal.
Awesome. Well, Angie, thank you for the call.
Thank you for taking my call, and have a great afternoon.
Well, I'm glad you got out of that without any further damage. I appreciate that. Rick, we'll get to you momentarily. Your calls as well. Plus, Monty Fritz coming up at the 4 o'clock hour, fresh off of his event from last evening in Lebanon, Tennessee. It was a packed house, great event. I'm told I heard that Chris Hand was out there and had a good time. I'm certain that everyone out there had a good time. We are coming down to it. It is cotton picking season when it comes to the gubernatorial campaign, and we'll discuss with Monty Fritz on the way right after this, 52 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You may have heard that some of the big time corporate chainy stores are they're going out by the wayside, and they're shutting their doors. Well, we wouldn't wish that. They just don't have the pricing, they don't have the personality, they don't have the non-commissioned salespeople, they don't have the selection, they don't have the value, they don't have the fashion designers that Genesis Diamonds has. And you know what? With all of those advantages, it just makes sense that so many smart shoppers have figured out that cookie cutter is not for them. It's boring, it's mediocre, service unacceptable. That's why Genesis Diamonds is excelling in Nashville, Tennessee. With 2 locations to serve you, Genesis is locally owned. They're staffed by real experts with warranties and guarantees that are unheard of. Personal attention that's also unheard of. Case after case of incredible, unique, fashion-forward designer jewelry. Whether you're looking for a classic ring or an ultra-modern ring, a natural diamond or lab-grown, Genesis has options for every price point, for every budget, and for every person listening. Go to Genesis. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. For an anniversary, a wedding gift, a birthday, or just because, Genesis Diamonds. Genesis Diamonds located in Cool Springs and Green Hills. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Genesis.
President Trump says the U.S. is prepared to continue to attack Iran, and the Pentagon asking for additional funding for the war. Details coming up at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy and the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Thank you for being with us. Well, we had, I'm not taking anything away from Michelle or Chad who want to talk about tent. I don't necessarily think that. I think we've exhausted a lot of the tent talk from yesterday. An hour and a half on tents, pretty good. I'm not belaboring the point, although I'm happy to take your telephone calls.
It was 3 hours on tent.
We did not talk 3 hours on tent. I had John Rose in here for an hour.
Yeah, that was the hour we didn't talk about tent.
Well, we had,
and you still brought up your tent in that hour.
We talked to Ricky Skaggs. Y'all. Hey, Ken.
Yes, sir.
Jackson is grumpy. And you listen at him. He's taking the grumpy out on us.
Did another 5-star leave Knoxville?
No.
No, we're getting one tomorrow.
All right.
Are you? What are y'all showing up in media days? Y'all showed up yesterday?
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah. How was it?
Lovely.
Good? Meh. Hey, media day's coming to Nashville next year. Did y'all hear that?
All right.
Yeah.
When do you go down there and broadcast from?
Well, we should. I don't know if they're going back to the Grand Hyatt. They were at the Grand Hyatt last year during that, or a few years ago when they were reconstructing, which was the worst possible timing imaginable. But yeah, they're coming back to Nashville next year. That should be a lot of fun.
All right.
There we go. And Ron Slay and the rest of the crew at 3HL, our brother station over on the sports station.
Yes, sir.
They're down there at the
They're
SEC
all
Media
over
Days. Yeah. And Ron is taking up 2 parking spaces while he's gone. Do you notice that?
And
Anybody else?
Joseph's in the handicap spot.
I mean, these people. I'm gonna go buy cones and just surround Slay's trucks with cones and find me some fake tickets and put a bunch of fake tickets on the.
I can get you some cones.
Let's go. We got Monty Fritz in the house. He's coming up next. Your questions, they're coming up too. 615-737-9986. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
4 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Middle Tennessee facing a 1-2 punch of dangerous heat and potential severe weather today. Could see heat index over 110 degrees wherever you're at in Middle Tennessee. Some folks tell us they already have it today. Then, of course, we have the risk of severe weather tonight. The window is 6 p.m. to midnight. Everybody north of Murfreesboro looking at a level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather with a very low potential for tornadoes. Everybody south of Murfreesboro, a level 1 out of 5 risk. So damaging winds, very low risk for tornadoes, but flash flooding is the big threat because the flood risk lasts from 6 p.m. tonight to 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. President Trump says the U.S. is prepared to continue to attack Iran.
Nobody knows, except the Iranians, the damage that we've done to them. We have done damage that will take them 20, 25 years to recover from. So if we left tomorrow, we had a big success, but we're not leaving tomorrow.
And the Pentagon asking for an additional $87 billion in funding for the war. This is Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth before a congressional panel.
Without these funds, we face critical shortfalls that threaten our ability to also simply pay our service members, rapidly replenish equipment and munitions, and sustain vital operations without disruption.
Well, Democrat Patty Murray of Washington chimed in saying the war is not popular with the majority of Americans.
This administration will not tell the public or Congress the true financial costs of this war, but we know it is very well into the tens of billions of dollars. Tax dollars we could have spent helping people afford health care.
Tonight in Nashville, Metro Council expected to take final votes on legislation that further regulates where data centers can be. And the mayor's office says it is still trying to obtain the land near the zoo, which D.C. Blocks closed on last week to build a data center. Still no definitive confirmation as to the source of the cyclosporiasis outbreak that has led thousands of people across several states to get sick with explosive diarrhea. The FDA says its investigations led them to lettuce supplied by Taylor Farms, sourced from Mexico. Taylor Farm supplies to supermarkets, fast food restaurants, even Cisco, which distributes to schools and hospitals. We get more from ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
This recall does include market-side brand lettuce sold at Walmart, which tell us that it took immediate steps to remove these products from shelves. Jack in the Box and Taco Bell also say that they have removed all affected lettuce. And Cisco and U.S. Foods, which distribute food to schools and hospitals, tell us that they have stopped deliveries too.
And right now in Tennessee, a poisonous worm is prompting a warning from the State Department of Agriculture, telling residents about an increase in sightings of invasive hammerhead worms across Tennessee. They're flat and ribbon-like, usually brown or gray with stripes and a distinctive hammer-shaped head, and secrete toxins from their skin, so don't touch them with your bare hands. Now, these hammerhead worms, they eat the good worms, the earthworms that are good for your garden and your crops. And officials say to avoid touching them again with your bare hands, just kill them with rubbing alcohol, salt, or a citrus and vinegar solution. Or you could stomp on them. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Got crashes on 65 in Madison and Goodlettsville. The one in Madison's blocking the shoulder there, northbound just past Old Hickory Boulevard. Goodlettsville, it's northbound just past a Long Hollow Pike. Very slow going if you are northbound North Loop, and then eastbound 440 over to 24. Then it's like a parking lot eastbound 24 from 440. Northbound 65 up to the South Loop. You're coming to a complete stop once you finally get to the South Loop and head eastbound. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My apologies. I was in the midst of a wonderful conversation with Monty Fritz, and I said, well, why don't we let everybody else in on this conversation? It's 8 minutes after the hour. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Pleased you've decided to join us this Tuesday, July 21, 2026, episode 1079, and we're down to it. I know I've said this a lot. I think about my grandpa a lot. I think about the sayings that he used to throw out at me quite a bit, and he used to call, when it came down to it, he called it was one of two things, and one had to do with taking care of bulls. And we can't really say that one on the radio. But the other one was, there's plowing season and there's planting season and then there's picking season. And it's cotton picking season because we've got a couple of weeks to go, a little over a couple of weeks to go, before the votes will be complete in the Republican primary for governor for the state of Tennessee and all the other races that are being contested. We've talked about many of those, and we've talked to most of the candidates. Had a good opportunity to speak to candidate Rose yesterday, and just by happenstance, as I was setting these things up, we had back-to-back days where the candidates had availability, and it's such a pleasure. I've talked to them on the phone many times. I don't know that we've sat, have we done one in studio?
Yes,
Monty
sir.
remembers. Monty Fritz joins us. He's running for governor of the state of Tennessee. Hey, Monty.
Matt, how are you doing today? Thank you.
I'm great. I'm doing great. It looked like you had a big event in Lebanon last night.
We did. It was. I was humbled by it. We tried to do something non-traditional since we couldn't get the others to debate. We decided to go ahead and use that time. We'd rescheduled some things, and it pulled together pretty quickly. Several hundred people showed up, and I think it was a good evening. Most people enjoyed it.
What is your main message when you meet with folks? You're going all over the state. You are as grassroots as it gets.
We are, yes.
And so yours is a door-to-door, old school traditional way to campaign for anything.
Yes,
and governor, that's got to be quite a task.
It is. It's exhausting.
What is the thing that you hope people take away from the visit with you about how you would be as governor?
Working class person that God has blessed and given the opportunity to learn and do some things, and that somebody that would listen and not be that career politician who is donor class paid for and perhaps not voting in alignment with the Constitution or the will of the people. Because sometimes it seems as if sometimes it's after a few years, but routinely after many years, folks in politics, it's as if they don't work for the people anymore. They work for something else. And I'm hoping they have a different view of me, that something I don't really want to do. I didn't have any great desire. I don't have any desire to be governor. I feel called to do this. That wigs a few people out when I say that, but I think the schedule we've kept has required a lot of energy for an almost 63-year-old man. And that's, I think, to do this and the sacrifice of it without feeling a call of God, some impetus from that direction, I think you might be a brick or two short of the load.
Well, it's a great message to leave with the folks that you're talking with. You mentioned money in politics. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, Monty, in my years of doing this, the people that bring up money in politics are the people that don't have any. That's fair, right? That's fair. Yeah. But at the same time, I understand the concern that so many of the listeners have. Yeah. And we want to believe that just because candidate X takes money from this particular special interest or that particular special interest, that doesn't make them necessarily beholden. And a lot of times it doesn't.
Yeah, I agree.
But then when you start lining up votes with money, it starts concerning a lot of the people. And we see it more and more nowadays than ever before.
Correlation is not always causation, but it is always correlation.
Correct. Yep. But then I revert back to the question of, okay, what can we do about that? Mm-hmm. And that's the conundrum.
It is.
Because, I do believe that money is a type of speech. Mm-hmm. I can use money to get a message forward.
Agreed.
And that a collection of people, a right to freely assemble is guaranteed in our Constitution.
Yep.
And so you combine those things together, and that it's a tricky thing to say, well, we should stop allowing collections of individuals to give to candidates because it might sour the milk.
Yeah, I would agree with all that. I do think, and I argued adamantly a few years ago that, our ability to pool our money and have a louder voice is important. And I would still argue that. I would also argue today, after having 4 years perspective of it, that it often has a tendency to drown out the voice of the individual. I don't think that was ever the intent. I would argue that folks outside the state of Tennessee influencing Tennessee elections is problematic. Not prohibited, but problematic. I think if you're holding fundraisers in Mississippi or scheduling one in Atlanta, really costly fundraisers, I think that is indicative of a focus outside Tennessee first.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think that's a problem. I hear the most about would you accept foreign influence money? And so there's an assumption that if you accept donations from certain PACs, that you are influenced by them. I don't know that it's always the case. Maybe not even most of the time the case, right, with our federal representatives. But it leaves that question, and I think that question is problematic for lots of Tennesseans.
I want to ask you a question about political donations in the state of Tennessee, and I'll use this as an example because I had a friend of mine brought something up to me that I was unaware of. I've been here since 2021, so I'm a newbie. I like to tell people 20 years from now, I'll get to be calling myself a Tennessean. But
I heard you still had like a Georgia Bulldog tag or something. Is that correct?
You know what? You can take the dog out of Georgia, but you can't take the Georgia out of the dog.
I agree, but I think there's always time to repent.
Well, look, I'm on record, Monty. I'm on record as saying that the finest human being walking planet Earth is named Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
And the Lord only made one perfect person. They nailed him to a cross.
Yes.
And Dolly Parton is proof that there's not perfect people walking around because she's a dadgum Tennessee fan. If she was a Georgia fan, I'd call her perfect, but she's not. So there
That's
you go.
Awesome.
Anyway,
That's awesome.
Anyway, so no, the Advance Financial is a good example of what you're talking about.
Yes, it is.
In the state of Tennessee, most people don't know this. They give a large amount of money. This is like a payday lender.
Yes.
You've seen them on the corners. Yes. Everybody's seen them. They make a lot of money.
Yep.
And these are usury rates.
It is usury. And usury's wrong.
And so I'm wondering if you were governor, and look, I see the donation lists. I understand why, they lend money in this, what they call a flex loan, that is an effective rate of 279.5%.
Wow.
And look, I'm not against people doing business, but at some point, do we not have a responsibility as good stewards to say, you know what, we're going to cap you, we're going to limit you as a government as to what you can charge back, because at some point it's loan sharking. I use that as an example because I see the lists of donations, and I don't hear a lot of talk about this conversation.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Matt, and I would think that anything constitutional, there has to be a moral basis for it. Our founders, I think, would have said that. I think when you look in Nehemiah chapter 5, you see that Nehemiah goes down to speak to the people as they're rebuilding the walls in Jerusalem and everything, and the people say to him, we've been forced to sell our children off into bondage to pay the king's tax. And all through Scripture, that's the first example that comes to mind when you mention this, but God does not seem to favor those who take advantage of the less fortunate or those who are in a position, right, to be taken advantage of. And certainly, I'd not heard that 279%, but I don't think anyone could argue that that's taking advantage of our fellow Tennesseans.
Well, as governor, I would encourage you to look after it, and in the General Assembly, in your capacity in the General Assembly. So it's my understanding, your two opponents, John Rose and Marsha Blackburn, are both up running TV commercials.
Yes.
And they seem very concerned about China and farmland in the state of Tennessee.
Yes.
But I happen to have a piece of legislation, and maybe I'm misreading it, Monty. You were in the body when this was passed.
I was a co-sponsor of that, I think, because I think I sent you a copy of that a couple weeks ago when the conversation was about that I thought we dealt with that on adversarial nations. Jay Reedy has been a leader in that in Tennessee. He's from up in the Stewart County area. good conservative man serving in the General Assembly, and I think he's ran 2 or 3 different versions of that to get it through, so that nations that are on the adversarial list by the Department of State can't be getting into the farmland. I think I sent you one for non-agriculture. There's one for agricultural as well.
Well, and my question then becomes, one, I asked John the question yesterday, and he said, well, obviously, yes, I'm aware of that, but I'm talking more broadly about, foreign influence or foreign interference. Well, that's not what your ad says, but whatever.
Yeah. And yet he takes foreign influence money.
Well, there it is.
Yeah.
Is there more that we need to do? It's my understanding that there was a piece of legislation in last year's General Assembly didn't go anywhere because there was concern that it would cost jobs. That there are some, fairly substantial employers. There's, I think, an aviation company in Knoxville was one that was pointed out to me that has a minority ownership in a Chinese-based company or Chinese-based group.
Yep.
And the concern is that these places would close down.
Yep.
As governor, how do you balance that?
Yeah, I think if in my preference, personal preference, Tennessee soil would only be owned by U.S. citizens. I think that should be the goal. I think that we have lots of investment that has come over the years from Japanese companies, right? And they have benefited over time. Is there a better way to do that rather than full ownership? Is it a long lease? I don't know. I think there's some discussions to be had about that. My view of no corporate welfare, if you then say that you make it much more deleterious for the foreign investor to build automobiles in your state, it might become problematic soon. I think certainly what Jay did with adversarial nations, I don't think we want the Iranians owning Tennessee soil.
Fair.
We don't want the communist Chinese owning Tennessee soil.
Fair.
And I think Jay used lots of wisdom in getting that through. I've found it kind of funny. I've had lots of questions about that from the fortune cookie commercial on. There's been lots of attention on that matter. And I would just tell you, I think it's a red herring so that those candidates don't have to debate and so that they don't have to talk about issues that Tennesseans really are concerned about.
Well, I'm here to talk about Monty Fritz, but I will say this in response to it. Look, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, much less the smartest guy in the conversation. But Marsha ran for Senate a couple of years ago, and she ran a commercial that got a lot of attention. And it made sense. If you're a United States senator, you're going to deal with foreign policy matters involving China. And she was breaking Chinese plates. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And I think somebody sat in a room somewhere and went, hey, that last one that we did was so good. Let's do another one like that. And nobody cared that a United States senator and a governor of the state of Tennessee are 2 different roles, 2 different things, dealing with different sets of issues.
And don't you think, Matt, when they're spending, I think between the 2 campaigns, they're probably likely to spend $20 to $25 million by the primary, right? I would think they would have focus groups where they would ask average Tennesseans, what do you think about this ad? If that were step number 5 in the process, somebody skipped step number 5 on the second, the fortune cookie.
Well, for me, the most I'm on record to say the most uncomfortable part of that is she's crumbling with her hands. And it's you got to go wash your hands. Come on, what are you doing? Let's keep those off your hands. But whatever. So let's talk about a few issues that you have made a point to bring up in the campaign. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll take a break first, and then I want to get into flock cameras. I know you talked to Hand about flock cameras.
Yes, sir.
And I've got a few questions about that. I know you've spoken on a few social issues that you want to tackle as governor of the state. Answering questions about abortions in the state and those types of things. We'll do that next. Plus, folks, like we did yesterday with John, after the bottom of the hour newscast, Monty's here for the hour, and we're going to just open it up for you to ask Monty any questions that you might have at 615-737-9986. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know, anytime you talk to your insurance company and you say, hey, I'm thinking about making a change, I'm thinking about doing this or that, and they start talking to you about open enrollment, you need to just put the phone down, pick the phone back up, and call Shane Ring and Cover Nash. Cover Nash understands that you can do things even in this period in time. You don't have to wait till the new year to make changes in your health insurance program, especially with Shane's ability to shop every single health insurance plan on the marketplace. He does not work for an insurance company. He works for you. He's your personal healthcare concierge. And you know what? Premiums might be up for you. You might be frustrated with the level of coverage, or maybe you're uninsured right now. You're tired of paying too much. Perhaps you're self-employed. Whatever your circumstance, Shane can help you. 615-465-0023, 615-465-0023, or go to covernash.com. That's covernash.com. Real health coverage on your terms, not the government's. Hey, friends, Matt Murphy for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Not feeling well, down in the back. Maybe you've done yard work. I did some yard work earlier today, and I'm feeling in the back. Let me tell you that. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley and the rest of the team at the Wellness Institute can help you. They have the most modern techniques. And look, I don't like taking pain pills, certainly. I was offered several years ago when I first got into the state of Tennessee, I was offered a pain blocker. To block some of my lower back pain, which is fairly chronic, and Dr. Mitchell has disabused me of that. Man, we go through spinal decompression, and it just works. They've got the modern techniques like the hydrowave therapy that just works. They've got Medical Bay One, which is an invention of Dr. Mitchell, which works. It's all designed to stimulate healing within your body naturally, without pills, without pain, without downtime, and without the consideration for surgery. Surgery is an option, but it always should be the last option after you've exhausted every opportunity to get pain-free in a more natural way. Go to painisbad.com, painisbad.com, or 615-246-5009, 246-5009 for the Wellness Institute of Nashville.
President Trump says the U.S. is prepared to continue to attack Iran, and the Pentagon asking for an additional $87 billion in funding for the effort. We'll tell you about this and more coming up at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. If you got any questions, thoughts, for our guest, Monty Fritz. He's running for governor. He is in studio with us until 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, by the way, John Henry, who's running in the 6th Congressional District race. That is a 3-person race. Van Hillary, Johnny Garrett, and John Henry. We will have him in the 5 o'clock hour. Of course, Nincompoops in the News coming up at 5:35 this afternoon. Monty, I've been at, and obviously I noticed some of the conversations that you've had regarding social issues, abortion being one, and you don't shy away from the idea that you think that if we consider abortion to be murder, that there should be some consequences for the mother. And I'm just curious how that works in terms of the law, because there's got to be a place that all of this comes together where certain things aren't against the law and certain things are against the law. Help me understand it.
Yeah, so I think Barrett's bill this past year, House Bill 570, did a good job of doing that and provided an equal protection under the law for the unborn. I think that's where we need to get. We're not a surgical abortion state. Unfortunately, we are a chemical abortion state. And I think life begins at conception. I think we've messed a couple things up over the past couple of years in the General Assembly and the way we've processed a couple bills. I actually started drafting something this year that would not just the mom, but the dad, the doctor, the pharmacist. If you assume that tiny jelly bean-sized baby is a human being, and if you assume that they get an equal protection under the law, then just like any other law for any of us other human beings, there's some degree of implication in the crime. I think abortion is murder. I think it is a crime. And I think we need to move toward that. I think Jody's bill did a really good job of it, so well that I pulled mine back. It's hard to get sponsorship, co-sponsorship for those kinds of bills right now. Unfortunately, there were only a few of us signed on to that bill, and Jody couldn't get a motion in committee to even have it heard.
Forgive me for not knowing, but what was the floor on Jody's bill? Was it conception?
It was, yes, sir.
And so would this include morning after pill?
I don't think his specifically got to that, and it aligned with the way the current law is written in Tennessee, because current law in Tennessee protects against where the life of the mother when it's a tubal or molar pregnancy. I think those are the two call-outs specifically in Tennessee law. And the way Jody had written it this year to move toward that would have meshed well. Current law requires that the doctor take every step to protect the life of the child.
Mm-hmm.
We want that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, that's common sense, I think, and for the folks that put it in there. But we have been reluctant to hold any accountability or any criminality to those who do perform that. And so let me back up on that. Morning after pill, as far as the abortion pills, yes. But as far as the stuff off the shelf, probably not. Now, my view on that.
Yeah, the off-the-shelf stuff is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so the off-the-shelf, my view on that, I don't know that Jody's really got into that level of detail for it. I think that the morning after bills can become abortifacient. I think House Bill 533 that we passed last year, I voted against it last year. Several of us actually sent Governor Lee a letter and asked him to veto it after it passed because it was on IVF access and contraception access. And so I had a couple concerns. Mine were primarily then with contraception. I don't think Matt ought to have to pay for contraception for all Tennesseans, right? Any
That's
contraception.
Fair, yeah.
And B, or Monty have to pay for it. And B, there are cases, according to the doctors that we researched this with, that if conception has occurred, that morning after pill prevents an implantation. And
right.
If that's the case, then I think that makes that drug an abortifacient in those cases.
Well, I mean, my argument has always been, and I'm sensitive to these conversations, and I understand that they're very spiritual in nature, and it's where government and God, kind of meet.
Yes.
That, there's really three things you need for a life to occur. I mean, you need a sperm and egg, and you need an oven.
Yep.
Right.
That's right.
And what the morning after pill does is doesn't let the oven turn on, basically. And
or
without
it prevents ovulation.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and it's a very particular point and a much broader subject, but I think if we're going to talk about criminalizing abortions, then we have to talk about that.
I agree with you. I agree. That's the reason I objected to I think it was House Bill 533 in 2025, because I thought that was part of the conversation that we should be having. And lots of people had concerns about the IVF portion of it because there were no controls, no determinations about how many eggs could be fertilized and was there a selective reduction process or all those kinds of things. Nothing in the law was included there, and that gave lots of the pro-life people some concerns, gave me some concerns. But most of my arguments were on contraception and that morning after pill. I think, again, two things as I understand it, that those off-the-shelf products provide is they can prevent ovulation, which would prevent pregnancy, so you don't have one of those three parts you mentioned, and then they can prevent implantation or putting it into the oven, as you put it.
Well, and for the record, I'm here to get I mean, you and I have slightly different viewpoints about this, but I think it all boils down, for me, to when do we consider life has begun?
Yes, sir.
And when you figure that out, then you obviously have to protect the rights of the life.
Absolutely. And our Tennessee Republican Party guiding principles clearly asserts that life begins at conception.
Sure.
And so now the national platform, after the change from a couple years ago, has a different view. Senator Blackburn chaired that committee. It goes to later term in the pregnancy rather than conception. So our Tennessee Republican Party guiding principles, I think, is correct.
All right, I'm very late, and I apologize to Ken Weaver for being late, but the conversation's so compelling. I just looked at my clock, and it's 33 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.434 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. We're tracking the potential for severe weather here in Middle Tennessee. Right now, the window is between 6 p.m. and midnight. Everybody north of Murfreesboro under a level 2 out of 5 risk. Everybody Murfreesboro and below a level 1 out of 5 risk. The chance for tornadoes very low with these storms that if they do develop, it's mostly going to be some damaging gusty winds and rain. Now, the rain could be the problem because the risk for flooding will run from 6 p.m. tonight till 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Election 2026, Republican gubernatorial candidate Monty Fritz on WTN's Matt Murphy Show in studio talking about the China angle as GOP opponents are pushing in their campaign ads.
From the fortune cookie commercial on, there's been lots of attention on that matter. And I would just tell you, I think it's a red herring so that those candidates don't have to debate and so that they don't have to talk about issues that Tennesseans really are concerned about.
Now, Fritz does say there are conversations to be had over whether more might need to be done about foreign ownership of companies in Tennessee. President Trump says the U.S. is prepared to continue to attack Iran, and the Pentagon is asking for an additional $87 billion in funding for the war. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth told a congressional panel U.S. service members were facing challenges that haven't been faced by prior generations.
If we don't make critical investments right now in tech, in compute, in AI, in autonomy, in space, our adversaries who are already making these types of investments could outpace us.
Senate Subcommittee Ranking Member Patty Murray slams the cost of the war, says the Trump administration's continuing a war she says is unpopular with the majority of Americans.
Instead of bankrolling the president's war or sending ICE $70 billion, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle could work with us to quadruple our investments to cure cancer or help families afford childcare or help them afford to cool their homes. Those are policy choices.
That's the latest news, traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, we've had something pop up here in Lebanon. It is Highway 109 south of Business Park Drive, shut down in both directions due to a serious injury crash. That's Highway 109 south of Business Park Drive in Lebanon, shut down in both directions due to a serious crash there. Here in downtown Nashville, we've got bumper-to-bumper stop-and-go traffic northbound 65 up to the South Loop. Eastbound 24 is a parking lot. They're from 440. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hey, friends, Matt Murphy for Eurofix. I have been talking about Eurofix for years. And Aaron Stokes started Eurofix like 26 years ago. It was in a little garage, kind of a shade tree mechanic situation. And he has grown, or had grown, over the 26 years of the life of Eurofix into 5 separate shops, beautiful locations, just as clean and comfortable and inviting as you can possibly imagine. And people have flocked to Eurofix simply because they do it better. A free 15-minute no-wrench inspection on your European automobile. They're below dealer prices. You get a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. Eurofix is growing by leaps and bounds, and they are carrying on the tradition. Sadly, we lost Aaron earlier in the year, but they are carrying on the tradition that Aaron started so many years ago. 844-EUROFIX, 844-EUROFIX, or online at myEurofix.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, 41 after the hour. We will, Jackson has already anticipated. We'll try to go straight through with Monty Fritz, who is sitting in studio with us. We will speak to him, we'll continue to speak to him and get your calls in on our conversation, 615-737-9986, about matters that he would handle as governor of the state of Tennessee. And he is asking for your vote, and many of you have already voted, letting us know how you're voting. Let's talk about your stand on data centers. I may have gotten it wrong, and I hate to get it filtered through unreliable liberal news outlets and sources, but tell me what your position on data centers is.
Yeah, so I have four concerns with that, and I think the first two are certainly things that we might be able to mitigate and fix, but use of electricity, we're already at a deficit in kilowatt production. We have a problem with that in Tennessee. Congress has so poorly managed TVA and our generating capacity that any additional usage of electricity can be problematic. These hyperscale data centers reportedly use large amounts of electricity. Water, quantity, quality, impacts, I think we got to understand that better. We must understand that better. The whole field that may be generated by a hyperscale data center, whatever that means. I think, if you read an Epoch Times article, it says that there may be a potential carcinogenic effect of those fields. We shouldn't be concerned just about the zoo, but maybe our cattle, our crops, and our children as well, if that's the case. I've asked the question for a long time of both Stuart McWhorter and our Tennessee Board of Regents person that AI, because there's a connection, is it happening to us or for us? And I think that's a valid question. I think you could ask the same thing for the hyperscale data centers. Are they happening to us or for us? I think that's an interesting perspective. The fourth part is just replacing our cognitive ability. We seem to be just kind of a balls-to-the-wall approach of we're going to do this and something's going to answer all our questions for us. I use this analogy often, Matt. That I might design a shovel. You might design a backhoe. Jackson might design a light bulb, and Chris Hand may design a supercomputer. God gave each and every one of us the ability to produce a tool that can help us. And in all cases, they're good. And I think there's probably that good in the AI and the data centers. But if we allow it to move too fast and happen to us, I'm afraid it's going to be something that we serve rather than it serving us.
Are you specifically referring to like hyperscale and AI oriented data centers?
in that conversation, yes, sir.
Because the toothpaste is kind of, anything. Like, for example, I thought about this when I was driving in. Like, you have a better internet game than either of the other candidates, by the way. But everything you do on the internet involves a data center. So every aspect of your life involves a data center.
Yeah.
If you transact business with a debit or a credit card, it involves so the idea that data centers bad, that's not necessarily the case, but I think what people are concerned about, at least in my experience, are these hyperscale centers that seem necessary now when 2 or 3 years ago, that's not what we were talking about necessarily.
Yep.
And the advancement of AI and what that means.
Yep. Yeah, and I think so. And you made a great argument. I think it's the last time I was on the show or on the phone or something, but our phones, we're enabling that. And we're 100%. Signing and we're giving our permission for it. And I think your argument's very valid. I think that when we talk about the size of these hyperscale centers, I don't trust the big tech guys, just to be honest. I trust them about as much as I trust government. And I think that when you start to get this, which we're starting to see now with that, we talk about wanting to invest your money in your tax dollars in those kinds of things. That becomes greatly problematic for me. I think the counties that are putting up, my county, my home county, put a moratorium for 2 years on data centers. Coming in, I think I heard on the show prior to yours that there was Nashville City Council, which comes up with some real lulu sometimes, but they were discussing some moratorium until like November, I think is what I heard, just to understand more.
Well, but these counties putting moratoriums on data centers is similar in nature to a county putting a moratorium on a dump, right? Nobody wants the dump in their county or near their house, but everybody understands the necessity for this. And I would suggest that we are all aiding and abetting in the manner in which we live our lives. And if we truly were concerned about the advancement of data centers, we would do things in our daily lives that would stop the advancement of data centers.
Yes, I agree. And that point is hard to get across to folks. I can promise you after 4 years of being governor, I'll probably be ready to throw this phone away.
I bet you're ready to throw away that
and laptops and everything else. I'm ready to go back to smoke signals or something for communication or writing letters. But I agree with your point. I do think that there's a bit of a difference. I agree with the analogy for the dumps, the landfills. Often we'll have a company perhaps from out of state that wants to seize an opportunity in a small rural county, because they're economically depressed.
They know they need the money.
That's right. And they take advantage of them, and then they're going to send everybody else's stinky trash in to a Scott County.
Yeah.
So that's a sensitive thing. Go to Scott County, I promise you.
Yeah.
And that's not okay. We've got to maintain some autonomy of the county to be able to make those decisions, especially if they have a working dump. And so I think the difference between a server that you need to operate your company or maybe even a large company is a big difference from what some of these hyperscale centers are now, because it's like a quantum leap in capacity. And do we need that? And if so, why? And with the fact that, again, to my phone, probably has as much computing power as Apollo 11 had, don't we think this is going to reduce in size rather than
See, on Matt Murphy's show, we believe in that sort of thing. If you were on Chris Hand's show, he'd push back on the Apollo 11 trip.
Would he?
I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with it. That's just me messing with it.
Maybe it's Apollo 7. I don't know.
So the on the Nashville front, and I asked this question of your opponent John Rose yesterday. It is a tricky wicket, the data centers, and what is hyperscale and how can we pull back on that? How can we rein that in a little bit while still accepting that most businesses use some form of servers, some form of data centers, all that.
Yeah.
On the Nashville thing, and I appreciate what they're doing now, but they got caught with their pants down.
Yes.
I mean, that's the bottom line. There's already 27 data centers in Davidson County.
Yeah.
And that sale is complete.
Yeah.
Do you agree? Freddie O'Connell's now saying that he wants to, on the back end, declare eminent domain on that property.
I don't agree with that. We talked
too
about
late,
that
right?
before.
It's too late.
Yeah, because once you have that deed, you've got some property ownership rights. Now, back to another analogy. If I had 100 acres next to your 100 acres, and I decided to store used tractor-trailer tires, that's pretty okay. It's not impacting you, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have it negative. If I start burning those, and you're breathing the black soot, then I think
we have a problem.
Yeah, well, you have a civil recourse, right? You should have, because it's causing you some harm. And I think communities have a right to do that too. And that balance is tricky from time to time to preserve the property ownership rights. I think to go back and exercise the eminent domain, I think eminent domain is in most cases a 4-letter word. And I think we've overused it in Tennessee for lots of things, in America for lots of things. And I think many times our founders are rolling over in their grave when we do that.
A rapid fire for me before I get to calls. Do we have too many people? This is a wonderful problem to have. I want to predicate my question with saying that I came from a state that was desperate for business, and I love Alabama. I was in Alabama for almost 21 years and loved everything about it. But they wanted more business to come in, and frankly, they taxed people more than the state of Tennessee taxes their constituents. So I would think that this is a good problem to have if you consider it a problem at all. Are there too many people coming to Tennessee?
I don't think so. I think I have a problem with our incentivizing folks to come in or businesses to come in. I think when we lost almost 4,000 small businesses during the COVID and mismanagement of COVID, we probably need to look inward rather than outward. In many cases, I think we've been guilty of not doing that very well. I think that you have folks that want to move here. That is a good problem, that they see more liberty in Tennessee, lower taxes, and want to come here. One of the things that we've offered to try to correct some of that is getting out of this whole taxation against unrealized capital gains with our property taxes. We need to fix that in Tennessee, because if folks move from Alabama or Arkansas or Alaska into Tennessee, it has a tendency to drive the real estate values up. And if we're reassessing every 4 to 5 years, that home that you bought for $250,000 in 10 years is worth $1 million or $2.5 million or whatever. And even if you have great county commissioners that have held your taxes low, and they've done good public service, good management of the money, you've broadened and deepened the base at which you can be taxed against. And that's problematic long term.
So could we not base even local property taxes on last prior sale?
Well, and that's what I offered in last year's General Assembly.
Yeah.
Let's drive a stake in the ground. We drove one at 2020 or what you've paid for it since. And then
that's fair.
And it didn't hurt the counties, I didn't think. And it would have prohibited government, the counties, from evicting you for delinquency in taxes. They would have to collect it when the estate was settled or the sale was made.
And we should note that there are no state property taxes in Tennessee. It's at 0, and there's a constitutional amendment on the ballot that I assume you are a yes on.
I am. Yes,
I'm a yes as well. Yeah. I promised I'd get to as many as I can, and we're about to do it. Cosmo is next up with our good friend Monty Fritz, who's running for governor. Cosmo, you've got a question.
I've actually got to thank you, Chris and Monty, and all of my YouTube friends. First off, question regarding, I know you kind of touched on it earlier regarding abortion. What about abortion in cases of incest and rape? My second question is, hold on one second.
Let me answer that one for you first. I don't think the conditions nor the location of the conception of the child determine the value of the human being. And I realize that's a horrible thing. We should aggressively prosecute the rapist. But I think that child that is resultant from that horrible thing that's taken place on that dear lady, I think that child shouldn't suffer the penalty for the crimes of the father, if you will.
Exactly, because the breath of life has been breathed into it from God.
I think so.
Okay, my next question is on April 11th, 2024, you voted against HB 2041/SB 1917, the legislation prohibiting marriage between biological first cousins.
Yes. Oh my goodness! Thank you for asking that question.
I didn't mean to laugh.
It's okay.
I didn't expect the first cousin question.
Hey, listen, I love that question. I get it a lot. So, I think marriage is an institution formed by God. It's between man and woman. I think outside that, government ought to really stay out of it. We had 4 of my Democrat colleagues, most of whom I love dearly. They offered a bill a couple of years ago that was going to make, and it passed. I didn't vote for it, but it would make first cousin marriage illegal. Well, first, I didn't know any first cousins that were married, Matt, or our guest on the line. And if I did know that my friend Matt were married to his first cousin, I would have said, brother, where you were living in Alabama, you should have driven another block before your first date. And so I had a little fun with that, but I really didn't think we needed it. And to be honest with you, my Democrat colleagues were really taking a shot at country folk like me, I thought. And it was unnecessary. They couldn't get anything passed, and it was a meaningless piece of legislation. So it's one of those danged if you do, danged if you don't votes. Either way you vote, you're going to get in some trouble. And so I voted no. As soon as I got back to my office, you've got somebody calling in from one of the media stations and saying, hey, Representative Fritz, you want first cousins to get married. No, it's not the case. I tried to explain all that. How do you enforce it? Is it a DNA test? Do you have to go before a county clerk? And they say, no, you look too much alike, you can't get married. And I was having all this fun with it, right? And the young lady was asking me the questions. Who wouldn't have none of that. And she persisted. So finally I said, well, I've known some of my Democrat colleagues for a while, and I love them, but the way they vote on life, guns, and budgets, I'm convinced that their families have been inbred for generations. And so that stopped the interview.
That's the money quote.
Yeah.
He gave her the money quote.
And so, yes, I did vote against it. I didn't think the motive behind the bill was good, and I thought it was just an attempt to take a shot at country folks in Tennessee, and I didn't think we had a problem with it.
Cosmo, thank you. Okay. Thank you for the question. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to eject you prematurely, Cosmo. I just want to get to as many as possible. Would you consider the legislation? I mean, this feels like a solution in search of a problem.
It was a worthless piece of legislation.
Yes. Dave's got a question. Dave, you're on with Monty Fritz. Go right ahead, sir.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
There was a lady who called in last Friday. I was listening to the show when you were raising questions, like what kind of questions did you have for candidates? And I don't know if I heard correctly, but she was saying that Mr. Fritz had commented earlier this year that he would support the death penalty for a woman who got an abortion. And I just wanted to clarify that. I mean, I got to tell you, that raised an eyebrow for me. I mean, how would you even implement something like that? I mean, does that apply? Is that retroactive? Did any woman ever got an abortion in Tennessee, or is that Somebody goes across the line up to Kentucky or
Tennessee.
What exactly is your thoughts on that, sir?
And Dave, I'll let you keep listening online. Go ahead.
Tennessee law would not allow anything to be applied retroactive. Our Constitution doesn't allow us to make retroactive law. As Matt and I were talking earlier, I do believe that we should have equal protection under the law, and that would include. I think most of us would agree that those abortion clinics that terminated the life of hundreds and hundreds of babies should be held highly accountable. And I think it would be up to the process of law in Tennessee to then decide what the punishment were for anybody who was complicit in the murder of that child.
You are, just real quickly before we run out of time, you are the one candidate that I think is staunchly against education freedom scholarships.
I am. They're unconstitutional, I think.
And you believe it's unconstitutionally blending public and private education and sending public money to private institutions.
Yes, sir. Based on Article 11, Section 12 of our Tennessee Constitution, I do think that. Yes, sir.
But would you agree that we have public education issues in the state? And
Absolutely.
how as governor would you propose we tackle those as opposed to something like the EFS?
A couple quick things. I do intend to end the vouchers. Secondly, I think that we have allowed our Tennessee Department of Education to become bloated, top-heavy, and unfocused. I think we need to be focused on excellence. I think that we greatly overuse standardized testing, and we use that as a measure to determine lots of things, and it's driving lots of bad behavior. I think those are lucrative contracts that often go outside the state, and we need to pull some of those back. I think that we have a common core approach that we've somewhat adopted under Ms. Schwinn and Ms. Reynolds that we need to reverse. I think that we are overemphasizing the use of electronics in the classroom. I think it's time to get back to books and writing things. I'll go back to the Rickover quote of if you can't write it down, you don't understand it. And I think
I think one of your colleagues in the General Assembly is going to propose a back to books piece of legislation up to fifth grade, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that Scott?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's great. I would completely support that. I think we need to do that. I think there's all kinds of issues with too much push. We need the electronics. We need to understand how to use them. But again, as my friend Matt just said, we're creating a greater demand for data centers when we do that.
So you watched the Memphis takeover. Was that necessary? I mean, they had so many years
for
to
the
get
schools. Yes,
that system.
I think so. I was supportive of that, and I think everybody was reluctant. I'll give it kudos to the folks that helped pull that together. It was reluctant on behalf, I think, of all my colleagues. Mark White's a good man. I think he was instrumental in this, and reluctant but necessary. When you see the comptroller's report, those numbers speak. They scream that there's something wrong. And so I think an important part of that as governor is going to be having an exit strategy from this takeover, but they've got to start meeting the standard. When $1 out of $7 in education is spent in Shelby County schools and we see that gross mismanagement of dollars, there's something wrong.
We got to do something. And real quick, just to follow up, you mentioned Stuart McWhorter and the Economic and Community Development Fund. Would you be against that fund and require businesses to come to the General Assembly on a case-by-case basis? Or, I mean, it's like a $600 million kind of slush fund for business opportunities to come into the state. Would you be against that as governor, or would you hesitate to eliminate that fund from the ECD?
Yeah, I think having an ECD is a good thing, but having that slush fund is a bad thing, and we've used it like that. I think everything from Starbucks. You know, we talked about this huge drive for AI and data centers now, the hyperscale. We did the same thing on electric vehicles because we had mismanaged policy in D.C. at that time with Biden, and we even got places like Ford to change all of their position. We're going to build electric pickup trucks that nobody wants them. We're going to force them on them, and we did ECD stuff there. And so the slush fund is not working. It's resulted in being, I think, a gross form of corporate
Has Blue
welfare.
Oval been a failure?
Well, I don't know
So
that
far?
we've pulled any trucks out. I talked to a friend of mine in Ripley not too long ago that I've met over the past couple of years, and I asked her, have you benefited at all? She said, no, my rent's just gone up because more people have moved there. And that's her perspective, but I think lots of people have that perspective.
Well, I feel like we're just scratching the surface and we got an hour down, but I look forward to the next conversation. Hopefully we can get one in here before August 6th. Thank you for spending the time with us today and speaking to the people of Middle Tennessee as always.
Thank you, brother.
Monty Fritz for governor. We'll be back in a moment. We got John Henry coming up. He is a 6th congressional district candidate, joining a couple of other candidates in that race. We're going to talk to John right after this on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We are looking at the possibility of severe storms here in Middle Tennessee. Everybody north of Murfreesboro under a level 2 out of 5 risk. Everybody Murfreesboro and below a level 1 out of 5 risk. I can say that right now we do have some tornado warnings issued in south central Kentucky as a result of this line of showers and thunderstorms that is slowly creeping this way, something we'll have to keep an eye on for you. The risk of tornadoes for Middle Tennessee tonight is very low. Election 2026, Republican gubernatorial candidate Monty Fritz in studio with WTN's Matt Murphy on who should be liable for abortion in Tennessee.
I actually started drafting something this year that would not just the mom, but the dad, the doctor, the pharmacist. If you assume that tiny jelly bean-sized baby is a human being, and if you assume that they get an equal protection under the law, then just like any other law for any of us other human beings, there's some degree of implication in the crime. I think abortion is murder. I think it is a crime. And I think we need to move toward that.
Fritz feels the same on the morning after pill if it is indeed an abortifacient. President Trump says the U.S. is prepared to continue to attack Iran, and the Pentagon is asking for an additional $87 billion in funding for the war. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff General Dan Kane testifying on Capitol Hill.
Hegseth told the Senate Appropriations Committee the money was needed to sustain ongoing operations, replenish munitions, and pay service members.
Not funding this department at $1.5 trillion, I believe, is the greatest threat that our nation faces.
The testimony comes after 10 straight nights of strikes in Iran. Hegseth has previously acknowledged it will take years to backfill some of the munitions expended during the Iran war. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
Senate Subcommittee Ranking Member Patty Murray slammed the costs of the war and says the Trump administration's continuing a war that is unpopular with the majority of Americans.
It used to be a pretty somber and serious thing, a president taking America to war and costing lives and taxpayer dollars. But this president has been downright flippant. The people I represent worry Trump thinks this is all a game and has sent men and women into harm's way without any sort of plan. And now that he's driven that car into the ditch, he wants taxpayers to bail him out.
And right now in Nashville, Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac says data center regulation bills up for final votes in the Metro Council tonight.
One would create rules limiting where new data centers can be built, allowing them only in certain industrial areas with special approval. And then the second would temporarily pause new data center proposals through November, giving the city more time to finalize additional regulations if needed. And those votes, they come after a packed council meeting earlier with hundreds of people. They were there speaking out, and that meeting lasted into the early morning hours. So that last city council meeting, it took a long time. And now if both of those proposals pass that final vote at tonight's meeting, that would mean that those new rules when it comes to new data center development, they would take effect immediately.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Belmont area, we've got a road hazard that is causing flat tires. It is 65 southbound between Wedgwood Avenue, exit 81, and I-440, exit 85, or rather exit 80. Highway Patrol there on the scene. Then on the South Loop, got a stalled vehicle, right shoulder block, 40 eastbound before 65. In Dixon, we've got an injury crash, 40 westbound just west of 840. In Lebanon, Highway 109 south of Business Park Drive is completely shut down in both directions due to a serious injury crash. Northbound traffic being diverted onto Martha Leeville Road. Southbound traffic being diverted onto Highway 70 Lebanon Road. I'm Ken Weaver.
All right, busy day, and we warned you that it would be. We've got a lot of guests. We got a lot of folks to talk to, a lot of different candidacies to discuss in the state of Tennessee. Obviously, there's a lot going on around the globe and around the country, and we'll get to some of those headlines as well. And clearly, Ken Weaver's on top of that in the newsroom, but we are on top of state and local elections as well. And we continue that conversation. Thanks to Monty Fritz for following up with a good hour. It was a great conversation. If you missed any of it, we'll be podcasting that coming up a little bit later on this evening. That's on the heels of our conversation with John Rose. And I would like to remind the folks that are listening from Camp Marsha Blackburn that Marsha is welcome anytime she wants to stop by. We'd love to have a good conversation with her as well, as we only have a little over 2 weeks before we culminate in voting day on August 6th, primary day. And one of the candidates that you'll see on the ballot, if you're in district number 6, is John Henry. He is running for congressional district number 6 against a couple of other opponents, Van Hillary and Johnny Garrett. He joins us in studio to talk about his candidacy, his experience, and why he has put his hat in the ring in the 6th congressional district. John Henry, thank you for being with us.
Matt, thank you so much for having me, brother. I appreciate this more than you know.
Oh, well, I told you I was going to apologize to you, and I am, because a couple of weeks ago, and it was an honest mistake. I promise you it was an honest mistake, even though I'm listening to your ads on my show. I said there were 2 candidates in the race. And there obviously are 3 candidates in the race, and you're one of them. And how could I forget John Henry?
Right. Do you have a dog named John Henry?
I had a dog named John Henry. But he's a steel driving dog.
That's right.
Talk to us about your experience. Yeah. We talked about this last time we spoke, but you served a good amount of time in the United States Marines.
I served in the Marine Corps for 27 years after I married my high school sweetheart, which is with me today. And 27 years, we served in Desert Storm, Operation Iraqi Freedom twice, Operation Enduring Freedom. Had an incredible career. After that 27 years, almost 28, came out, and things had changed. In small rural town America where we live, a lot of things have changed. And that's why the 3 pillars that we talk about of our campaign, that's what they're based on, is my experience.
Mm-hmm. And when was that, when you came out of the Corps?
Right before, November 2017. So it's been been a while.
When you say things have changed, what comes to mind?
Yeah, I'm a very rural. I'm a country boy. Honestly, I'm from a little town of 560 people. When I was growing up, we raised feeder pigs, tobacco, cattle, row crops. You came home, and pretty much everything's changed in a 35-year period. Mm-hmm. That's why we talk about food security. Food security is national security, man. It's very important. And since that time, 4 major processors, packers have monopolized 85% of all the meat we consume today. Mm-hmm. We believe something should be done about that. That's why the number one thing we talk about is food security, agriculture, bringing agriculture back down to a lower level instead of industrializing the meat processing we have today.
Well, I mean, you no doubt have a thought then on Ken Weaver, our newsman back in the newsroom, his favorite topic of conversation right now is explosive diarrhea across the United States of America. We can't get through a newscast without an explosive diarrhea update. I mean, that feels a little insecure across the United States of America that we have whatever that is that's going on in people due to the lettuce. Any thoughts on that one?
Well, I'll be honest. Everything that we should consume in America should come from America. How can the government get off the people's back for them to be able to produce those things so Ken won't have that problem in the future instead of it coming from, did it come from Mexico?
Well, see, that's what they said, but then I heard Weaver earlier today is like, now they're saying that Taylor Farms wasn't involved, and I don't think we know. You know what? Just eat meat and taters and keep away from the lettuce. I think we'll be all right.
You're a good Georgia boy. You know that, brother. That's exactly right. But it's on a serious note. We need to look at that very hard because there used to be dairies all across the planet. Down in Georgia, there was dairies everywhere. And what they did is they put more and more regulations on farmers till the small farmers went out. And they industrialized almost all milk production today. Mm-hmm. That's just one example. It just goes on and on. But as you know, Matt, that affects our next generations. They can become architects. They can do anything they want, but you can't become a farmer today because of those regulations. And that's a serious issue for us in our campaign. We need to have people with some type of agriculture experience going to D.C. to help these small farmers and small communities.
What is the biggest issue? You look at Washington, D.C. and the swamp that it is. What is the most concerning issue to you, John Henry?
Well, I think it's food security right now. We don't think that much about it, but food security, well, really education. That's the third pillar of our whole platform. Our education system is in a hurt locker, we say in the core. We've let, over the 50-year time period, we let the Marxist ideology come in to where everything's controlled by the U.S. government, and that should have never been, Matt. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's why we elect school boards. But instead, strings go all the way up to D.C., find that money going all the way to D.C. Our teachers can't teach. They got to teach to the test. Mm-hmm. I know Secretary McMahon's doing a great job, trying her best to get education to come back down to the state level. We want to be there to help move that along because it needs to come back down, I think, to that school board level. Keep the state and keep the federal government completely out of our education because our scores, everything that's going on in American education is just plummeting.
I would imagine that you would be in favor of the Save America Act, the Voting Rights Act. I mean, it's been passed by the House of Representatives 4 times. I would expect that that's something that you would be in favor of.
I and 82% of all Americans believe that. That's what gets me. That's how defunct our Congress is.
I mean, obviously, as a congressman, you would have something to say about ongoing foreign conflicts. Yes, and as a 27-year member of the United States Marine Corps, as a Marine, I imagine you have some particular insight into that. Donald Trump, and I'm not asking you to say anything against President Trump, he campaigned in his last election cycle as, hey, we need to extract ourselves from these things and we need to not start new ones. And yet here we are. Any thoughts on at what point Congress has to step in and say, Mr. President, we've got to have a say in this at some stage in these proceedings? I mean, I understand the president has a certain level of latitude.
Yes. Well, Matt, again, 27 years experience, I do have a little bit of it really concerns. My experience was when I was in Desert Storm, 10 months, the whole conflict was over. I don't think Americans can stomach this very much longer. Mm-hmm. I mean, we had 20 years after I finished Desert Storm. Those 2 20-year wars, that was tough for America. Iraq, then Afghanistan. So I think something like, and I'm kind of, honestly, I'm a little displeased with our generals and our people making decisions, advising the president to think that Iran would just, we're going to sign this and absolutely we're going to go with it. That's not how they work, Matt. I mean, that's not how they work at all.
That's just not how they think.
They'll sacrifice their whole population in order not to have to sign any kind of document and abide by it.
I mean, they believe, truly, that they're answering to Allah.
They are.
And that they can deceive us as much as they want. I've made the point that I believe, number one, that President Trump got into this with the best of intentions. I think he sat down with trusted advisors and they convinced him that this could be an 8-week campaign, and obviously that's wrong. And I think he saw an opportunity to get a permanent peace and to extract nuclear capabilities and eliminate that from Iran's possibility. But yet here we are. And so how would you advise, if you were able to sit down with the President of the United States, how would you advise him to move forward?
It's a concrete end state. If we're done, if we have no nuclear anything, then it's time to move on. But if we don't, as Marines, we like a good fight. We've got to do whatever we can to make sure that there's no possible way with human intel that they cannot have nuclear capabilities. That's so important. That's the end state, Matt. That's what we have to work to, have a concrete end state and work to that, make it happen.
Was it a mistake and I understand that you have to sell this to the American people to a certain degree.
Right.
And we very loudly and clearly, as a United States government, said no boots on the ground. Do you think that was a mistake? Because that kind of took that off the table, and the Iranians now know that we're not going to send people onto the ground. We're not going to, right? It feels like we're giving up a little bit.
Well, it is, but 47 years ago in 1983, when that truck bomb blew through there and blew those Marines up, over 200 Marines, we've been sharpening our swords for 47 years. We've been waiting for this.
Right.
So I think a definitive statement like that may have not been right, but are we ready to go? Listen, Marines are floating off the shores right now, just waiting.
All right, so you gave us two pillars, and food security and education. We're going to find out what that third pillar is in just a moment, and we'll continue the conversation with John Henry. If you have any questions for the 6th Congressional District candidate, get them in on the Super Text line or on the phone line, 615-737-9986. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's a dangerous world out there. You guys know that. Don't need me to tell you. But if you are concerned about the safety and security of your family and your home, if you're concerned about your property, if you're concerned about theft or even fire, I got an answer for you, and it's Nashville Safe House. Mark and his team are great. Jill's the better half of that relationship, but Mark's pretty good too. Who knows where he might be, but he's probably counting safes. He always knows the exact number of the safes that he has, and he has a lot of them, right? If you go and see the incredible showroom on 4th Avenue South, across from the infamous City Cemetery in Nashville, you will see row upon row. It's like a maze of safes. There's like 200 on the showroom floor of all shapes and sizes, all brand names. They got Browning, Champion, Rhino, Fort Knox, you name it, they've got it. For you, whatever fire rating you're looking for, whatever size you're looking for, they have that as well. But then they have another like 400 in their warehouse. And I'm like, Mark, why do you have so many safes? He said, I do not want anyone to walk out of this door without finding the safe that's right for them, and let one of our professional delivery crews deliver it to them immediately with no waiting. That's what it's all about, protecting yourself, protecting your family. Gun safes are always sales tax free at Nashville Safe House. Go to NashvilleSafehouse.com or 4th Avenue South in Nashville. I have a wonderful opportunity for you and your loved one, and it involves your health. Wouldn't you rather know what's going on inside of your body than just wonder? I mean, you get to a certain age and maybe there's a little something that you feel, it's not quite symptomatic, but it's just odd or off. Would you not like peace of mind in knowing what's going on? We have CT scan technology at Kraft Body Scan that's pretty insane. I mean, it's incredible. It's quick. It's non-invasive. I've done a full body scan, took 8 minutes, and I got complete notes back about my heart, my lungs, all other manner of parts of my body. And it gave complete diagnostics. And did this without invasive techniques and in 8 short minutes. And you can have a couple's heart and lung scan for $99. It's fast, it's easy, it gives you real peace of mind. 615-436-1000, 615-436-1000, or go online to togetherwescan.com, promo code MATT50. Togetherwescan.com, promo code MATT50. That's going to get you a couple's heart and lung scan for $99. It's incredible value. It gives you that peace of mind or catches things very, very early before you're even symptomatic. Go to togetherwescan.com.
All right, we're watching the potential for severe weather here in Middle Tennessee. That line of showers and thunderstorms creeping down from Kentucky is prompting tornado warnings. That's a very low risk here for Middle Tennessee, but nonetheless, it's headed this way. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on that for you. And now everyone in the upper half of Middle Tennessee is under a severe thunderstorm watch. That includes everybody Murfreesboro and north. And then the top stories are coming up. Republican gubernatorial candidate Monty Fritz in studio with Matt Murphy says he has concerns about data centers. That's coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Yeah, some of those storms in Kentucky seem to be coming down, getting a little bit lower and lower and lower. So the expectation is we're going to have some of that hit us a little bit later on tonight. A few more minutes with our guest, John Henry. He's running in the 6th Congressional District, asking for your vote. We hit on 2 of the, you call it the 3 pillars of your campaign. Food security being one, education being one. What's the third?
Industry.
All right, talk to me about that.
Small town America in 1994 was gutted with we all know when Ross Perot told us, if you pass NAFTA, you're in your giant sucking sound. We did. We had a clock factory, a sock factory, shirt factory, but they're all gone. I mean, it's nothing there. And so young people have to drive to Nashville, Cookeville. We need to do something to bring it back. Now, President Trump's done a number of things. If you have an Apple Watch or Apple phone, those screens are now made in Kentucky. GM is now pulling plants back from Mexico and Canada into the local area. We need to do something for small town America, Matt. And I plan on going and looking at legislature and getting folks on board to bring some things and what we call reshore. All those things were offshored from NAFTA. Bring some things back to small town America. Help those small towns with revenue. They're dying. They need revenue. Property taxes are going up. We need relief from bringing those industries back to America.
I have said, well on record, that I believe the greatest existential threat the United States of America faces is Washington, D.C.'s inability to stop spending fake money. We are $40 trillion in debt. We've doubled that in the last 10 years, John. Is that a focus of yours? And what, if anything, can one man in Washington, D.C. do to help what I consider to be a great crisis?
Well, one thing is we need to stop sending politicians to D.C. I'll just be honest with you and give a host and name of them. We've got 100 veterans in the lower chamber in the House of Representatives. We have 20 of those 100 senators that are veterans. We've got to communicate. We've got to come on board. We all took an oath to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. We got to be on the same sheet of music to stop the spending. We can balance a budget all day long, but unless you stop the spending, I mean, what are we going to do? We have to do something. And I'm a Doge guy. I'll be honest with you. Doge, you just keep seeing all the money. But we've got to keep that up. We've got to see where all that money's going to. I think they just talked about today how many dead people are receiving, benefits.
I know it.
Those are things that we have to have accountability.
Yeah, Scott Bessent was talking about that earlier.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And accountability is a big piece of my platform.
So if folks are trying to decide between yourself and your two competitors, what separates John Henry from the Garretts of the world and the Hillarys of the world?
Yeah, well, I'm not a politician, right? I'm just a good old boy from down in small Smith County, Tennessee. Served my country for 27 years. That oath, I'll continue to serve them just like I did in the Marine Corps. The same job in the Marine Corps is representing all the Marines and the battalion and the regiment. I'll do the same thing. Be a representative that they can be proud of here in the 6th District. Don't send a politician. General Flynn has endorsed our campaign. He's not a politician, but he sure did take up for the president back in 2016. Those are the things we're talking about. Basic, common sense issues that I won't compromise with.
We look forward to the next couple of weeks. I know you've been after it for, 14 months?
14 months we've been going.
14 months now, and best of luck to you. I know that it's a family deal for you and your wife, and congratulations on that wonderful marriage, and I'm certain that she's going to be happy for August 6th to get here.
Maybe. Please come see us at Henry for Congress. All our websites, you'll see all she does there as well, and my team. And, hey, President Trump selected a Marine. I know the 6th District can do the same thing.
Hey, when's your, I imagine you've got an AI ad coming up sometime soon. I mean, everybody else up there's got some sort of artificial intelligence. Can we get a shot of you sleeping on a sofa or something?
Could you imagine a Marine one? That may be pretty ugly, brother. That's pretty good, though. I like that. That's great.
John Henry, thank you for being here.
I'm grateful more than you know.
One time, the website one more time.
Henry for Congress. Facebook, you follow us there. See all the reels of those that I served in combat with that recommended me. You can see all that on our Facebook.
There's John Henry. It's 33 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and right now we are tracking severe storms in Kentucky, prompting tornado warnings. That is the part of that storm line of showers and thunderstorms moving this way. So right now, all of Middle Tennessee, well, at least the upper half of Middle Tennessee is under a severe thunderstorm watch, and that is until midnight tonight. Any severe thunderstorms that pop up in Middle Tennessee do have the low risk of producing a tornado, so something we'll have to watch for you. There are tornado warnings right now in south central Kentucky, and it is part of that line of showers and thunderstorms moving south to Middle Tennessee. Election 2026, Republican gubernatorial candidate Monty Fritz in studio with WTN's Matt Murphy today says he has concerns about data centers in the volunteer state.
AI, because there's a connection. Is it happening to us or for us? And I think that's a valid question. I think you could ask the same thing for the hyperscale data centers. Are they happening to us or for us? I think that's an interesting perspective.
Fritz is supportive of temporary moratoriums on new data centers, but is not supportive of using eminent domain like Mayor Freddie O'Connell is trying to use to stop that data center near the Nashville Zoo. President Trump says the U.S. is prepared to continue to attack Iran, also telling reporters in the Oval Office the U.S. is ready to strike an area called Pickaxe Mountain where nuclear materials may be held.
We'll be hitting that area probably pretty soon, and there's not a thing they can do about it. Normally I wouldn't say that. If I thought they could do something about it, I would never say that, but we'll be hitting that area pretty soon.
And the Trump administration asking Congress for an additional $87 billion to fund the war. And a federal appeals court today cleared the way for the Justice Department to release tapes of former President Joe Biden's interviews with his biographer from a decade ago. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, Belmont, we've got something in the road 65 southbound between Wedgwood Avenue and I-440 that is causing flat tires. The Highway Patrol is there on the scene. In Dixon, we've got an injury wreck 40 westbound, just west of 840. And in the Blackman area of Rutherford County, we've got a stalled vehicle blocking the right lane of 840 eastbound at I-24. Then in Lebanon, Highway 109, south of Business Park Drive, is shut down both directions due to a serious injury crash. Expect extended closures, according to Lebanon police. Northbound traffic is being diverted into Martha Leeville Road. Southbound traffic being diverted onto Highway 70. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hi, friends. Matt Murphy for Timberland Cabinets. Online at timberlandcabinets.com. When you go over there to the intraweb and you look at that wonderful website, you'll see the Timberland difference. I mean, these are not, particle board nonsense cabinets. This is the real deal, folks. This is solid wood, hardwood cabinetry products designed to stand the test of time. They don't believe in the lower quality particle board nonsense. Those alternatives, they can't handle the moisture and steady use that your kitchen is going to need, that your bathroom might need. Now, the kitchen, the bathroom, this is the heartbeat of your home. You need to value that heart by upgrading to Timberland cabinets. And, oh, by the way, if you don't understand where to start, you don't have to worry about it. Call Deb. The way you start is a telephone call to Deb and the rest of the crew over at Timberland Cabinets. And then they're going to walk you through the process. And if if you want to involve yourself in every aspect of the selection of, countertops and obviously you want to be involved in the hardware selection and the cabinet style selection, you can do all of that. And they have the connections that you need to make that kitchen the kitchen of your dreams, the bathroom of your dreams. TimberlyCabinets.com or call 931-499-7170, 931-499-7170. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm still learning too, 0013. 0013 says, I'm still new to Tennessee, learning the new places. Where's the 6th Congressional District? Well, it used to be in a place where it's no longer because they moved it around. The 6th Congressional District changed considerably when the new lines were drawn earlier this summer. So I'm going to go online because they drew out 6th. Oh, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to answer this question in just a moment. I'm going to do it after Nincompoops, and I'm doing Nincompoops after Jerry's call. Jerry's been holding for over an hour now. He wants to talk about my John Rose interview. Jerry, good afternoon.
I just wanted to, first of all, I'm voting for any one of the three before I would vote for a communist. But, you had mentioned something with him, and it's on the marijuana thing. One way or the other, I just think it's a slippery slope. And you had mentioned you keep comparing it to alcohol, and I completely disagree with you. And here's where I kind of agree with John Rose on, is that it's never been legal. I mean, there are certain states it is now, but it's not. It was legal.
Sure, it was.
When was it ever legal?
Sure, it was. Well, when
was marijuana ever legal?
Jerry, what I would encourage you to do is use the Google machine and Google when marijuana became illegal in the United States of America. Jerry, George Washington grew marijuana. Thomas Jefferson grew marijuana. You understand that, right?
If you went by, then you would make cocaine legal.
Well, I mean, I think cocaine's a different subject for it. I mean, you probably wouldn't get an argument over the natural opioids that God created and put on planet Earth from Matt Murphy. So I might be the wrong person to talk to you about that. I'm much more concerned with the pharmaceutical industry and what they're creating in laboratories than I am with what grows in the backyard. My point on the alcohol front was that when alcohol was illegal, it went underground and it created a black market network of criminal activity, which is what we see going on with marijuana to a certain degree, lesser so now that it's been legalized in the various states. But we certainly see that. But the fentanyl problem that exists in the United States of America did not grow from marijuana use. It grew from opioid use, which was all created by overprescription of OxyContin and other types of drugs like OxyContin at the insistence of the pharmaceutical industry. They pushed that on the doctors that then pushed that on the patients. So I'm just amazed that people claim that our drug issues in the United States of America are all a direct result of the marijuana use when it's just not true.
Well, listen, and I would agree with you on I would be a complete, total libertarian and say just legalize it all. However, that means that if it screws up your life, then my tax dollars shouldn't go to help you.
Sure.
But you know that never happens. Never happens. We're always taking care of them.
Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying, Jerry, and I agree with you that if you take responsibility for yourself and enjoy the freedoms that America presents to you in that regard, then you have to take responsibility on the back end if something negative happens to you. But Jerry, I completely respect your position on the issue. I don't share the position. I believe that a plant like marijuana has so much benefit to it that I can overlook some of the recreational uses and abuses of the drug. And frankly, I do not believe that making it illegal has been successful in the United States of America. All of that to say, it's time for Nincompoops in the News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Nincompoops in the News.
So, Ken Weaver Jackson believes that there's a conspiracy on the part of Matt Murphy to avoid Nincompoops in the News because Jackson keeps winning. And I want to talk to you about this, Ken.
Okay.
Because I'm here to put these rumors to rest.
Let's put them, nip it in the bud.
Yeah, Jackson, this rumor that you've been spreading around that Murphy didn't do Nincompoops yesterday because he's scared, doesn't like doing Nincompoops today, he's late today because he's scared. I'm here to tell you that these rumors are completely true. There you
Did
go.
Jackson win again last week?
I won yesterday.
Son.
We didn't play yesterday.
Well, I got a bunch of votes, and y'all didn't.
You didn't get any votes. Nobody voted.
They did actually. You got a vote, Ken.
Yeah, you got
people
one.
were randomly voting.
Well, then I did win.
No, Ken, I got about 5 votes. You got about 2, and Matt got 1.
But that none of those count. Of course, we're just starting fresh on this Tuesday edition of the Matt Murphy
And
Show.
I'll just go ahead and kick us off as our longtime reigning champion who won yesterday.
I'm not suggesting that you won yesterday, but I was going to allow for you to go to set the batting order today, considering that you seem to have retained the trophy last week.
All right, the order for today: Williams, Weaver, and Matt. I've wanted to say this all day. Up yours. I mean, up the rear.
Jackson gets in a really good mood when we do things that stimulate telephone calls. Have you noticed that,
Brother
Ken?
Jackson likes those telephone
He
calls.
really does. He loves.
I like break times.
I have had. You know what? We may, over the last 2 days, you may have said hello to the next governor of the state of Tennessee, and with the right attitude, Jackson, you might get invited to the governor's mansion.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Wouldn't that be nice? But not with this attitude. Not with this. You need to go on break. Not with that attitude. Speaking of breaking, if we're not going to do Nincompoops, we're going to have to go to break. So why don't you go ahead?
All right, man arrested after surfing naked on top of moving locomotive.
Son of a biscuit eater.
Wow.
A man was arrested for surfing naked on top of a moving train on Thursday, according to a social media post from the Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office. Did I get that right, Kim?
That sounds good to me, Brother Jackson.
The man, identified as Daniel Ray Balance of Quartzsite, Arizona, broke the window on a Union Pacific Railroad locomotive and entered it. Balance was arrested and faces a combination of felony and misdemeanor charges, according to the Sheriff's Office. They released this quote: "For those of you who had the unfortunate experience of seeing this gentleman surfing naked on top of a moving train yesterday, I want you to know that he was arrested on felony and misdemeanor charges," said the quote. He reportedly expressed to law enforcement his love of vodka, beer, and the banjo. Daniel expressed his love of vodka, beer, and playing the banjo. Unfortunately, we had to separate him from those loves and the train ride, said the sheriff's office.
You play any musical instruments, Jackson?
No.
You would look good with a banjo. You would.
You know what has a banjo in it?
What has a banjo in it? I did. Never saw it coming.
To it, Brother Murphy.
Never saw it coming. Just like that train.
And I hit you right in the face with
it.
It
just hit me right in the head with it. I never saw it coming. I was just imagining Jackson in a nice pair of overalls, Ken.
Yes, sir.
Good looking barrel. Playing a banjo, you know? I've always wanted to learn to play the banjo. I'm not musically inclined, and I hear the banjo is pretty tough to play.
So now that my story has concluded, subsequently, it's time for Weaver.
3 men working FIFA World Cup busted for fraud and grand theft. 3 men working at the FIFA World Cup in Miami Gardens, Florida, working at the match between England and France at Hard Rock Stadium on Saturday, were arrested for defrauding the business that employed them. A manager for Sodexo Live, a vendor working the World Cup. How many times is this writer going to say this? Who wrote this? Good grief.
Just awful.
So,
just awful.
Here's what happened.
Yeah?
The vendor alerted deputies after noticing that the employees were completing sales with customers in which the transaction total matched the correct amount.
World Cup.
But instead of charging for the items, they were providing the items for free to the customers, and the money for the items was being included as the defendant's tip.
Oh.
The suspects identified as 38-year-old Angel Mata of Miramar, 46-year-old Justin Samuel, and 37-year-old Marcus Tribble. Deputies said the manager informed them that the devices used to conduct the transactions were all checked out at the start of a shift and utilized for the remainder of that assigned shift, and that each suspect had to log into the device with their unique identifier.
Yeah.
So basically, these boys thought they were going to get away with something when actually all they did was basically say, hey, we just stole your money.
Were they naked?
It makes me. Thank you, Jackson. No,
They were clothed.
They were clothed. This reminds me of Office Space.
Yes.
You know, when they did, we were just going to round up on the decimal point.
Right.
And, in several months, we'll have a couple $1,000s. And they put the decimal point in the wrong spot. And the next day, they had $311,000 there. Well, they're going to notice this.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, all this guy had to do was go back through the receipts and say, oh, well, there's that $10,138.
Right there.
It was in tips to these three guys, and I've got their accounts.
Weird.
Nincompoops, all three of them.
All three of those men are nincompoops.
Yes, sir.
And I've got one for you as well from Laverne, Minnesota. Before I begin my nincompoop story, Jackson, are you 6'2"?
6'1", 6'2"-ish.
I'm going to go with 6'2". More on that in a moment.
Oh, Lord.
Crossing the open farmland of southwestern Minnesota, you'll encounter an otherworldly sight. A massive head with a beard, mustache, and red-striped top hat looming over the horizon. Luverne, which, thanks to a local collector, claims to have more of the decorative figurines that I'm describing to you now than people, now boasts what is being called by the Guinness Book of World Records the world's tallest nutcracker. Coming in at 66 feet tall, decked out like Uncle Sam, the star-spangled behemoth also has a working jaw.
Wow.
Suitable for, well, nut cracking.
Cracking nuts.
Outside of a quirky rock shop in the town center, hundreds of people gather for a weekend ribbon cutting where the nutcracker's name and exact height were revealed to a crowd that was later served red, white, and blue cookies as well as slushies. Please welcome the newest Laverne resident, Vern the Patriot. That's his name, Vern the Patriot. He stands 65 feet, 7.5 inches tall, with the pedestal pushing Vern to an additional 9 feet over the surrounding prairie. It's almost twice the height of the 33-foot tall nutcracker in Neuhausen, Germany, that Guinness Records currently has ranked as the largest. That's right. America now has the tallest nutcracker in the world. If you're wondering where the tallest ball buster in the world is, it's coming in at 6 feet and 2 inches tall right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Executive producer of the Matt Murphy Radio Show, Jackson Williams. World's tallest ball buster, my nincompoop in the news.
And I do it proudly.
I saw this story. I did this entire story to make the ball buster joke.
That's pretty good putting that together, Brother Murphy.
Thank you.
It was
Thank you,
funny,
Ken.
but it's not going to get you a win.
Thank you, Ken. If you want to vote, if you think Jackson Williams is a nincompoop, you need to vote for Matt Murphy today.
No,
right.
vote for me.
Brother Jackson, I had that story in the queue.
That's exactly right, Ken.
I was ready to go.
So I think you should take all of your Ken votes and vote for Matt because Jackson needs to be named a nincompoop today. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. That's how we play it. It's 55 after the hour. Back after this.
That's the way to go, Brother Jackson.
Jackson just told me that I was number one for my nincompoop for today. He did. He just declared that I'm number one. And I was about to offer him a wonderful couples heart and lung scan with Kraft Body Scan. I mean, we're a platonic radio couple, executive producer and host. Why not? You need to get over to Kraft Body Scan, friends. Right now, they're offering our listeners a couples heart and lung scan valued at over $2,000 for just $99. And I know that's hard to believe. I couldn't believe it when I first heard it, but it is true. This is a over $2,000 value, and they're introducing you to the product, introducing you to what they do. Now, they have other types of scans that they do. I did a full body scan when I went to Kraft Body Scan because I wanted to make sure that everything was on the up and up. I mean, and it gives you such peace of mind. Now, I'm a little bit of a hypochondriac, I admit that, but if you find that inside of you, too, that you're concerned about what's going on inside of your body, want to know, you need to know. Kraft Body Scan can help you with that. Go to togetherwescan.com, type in promo code Matt50. Togetherwescan.com, promo code Matt50. Or call 615-436-1000. 615-436-1000. Togetherwescan.com for Kraft Body Scan. Do you suffer from chronic red, irritated eyes, dry eyes? You're not alone, friends. A lot of people, actually 1 in 8 Americans, and that number is growing by the day. We're finding so much out about more and more all the time about what causes it. You've probably seen some commercials for new drugs on television that you can't pronounce. Lots of them, well, they cause dry eyes. My wife is one of those that has been affected, and she is a patient with Dr. Catherine Beckman in the Beckman Dry Eye Institute, located on Mallory Lane in Cool Springs. Dr. Beckman's clinic solely focuses on patients with dry eyes. It's called ocular surface disease. She sees patients every day that have damaged the front of their eyes due to improper blinking, or damage to the glands that produce tears, damage to the surface of the eye from the wearing of contact lenses and whatnot. There's a million different reasons that this can happen, but there's only one solution, and that solution is to schedule an appointment with the Beckman Dry Eye Institute. The clinic is different from other eye clinics in a lot of ways. She doesn't do eye exams, sell you contacts. Her practice is dedicated to patients suffering with this one issue. She is an encyclopedia of knowledge on the subject, and Catherine and her team, they're just really, really good at what they do, and really they're a standalone. So if you have dry eyes and you just feel like you have to live with it, that is not correct, folks. It is time to get relief with the Beckman Dry Eye Institute. Go to beckmandryeyeinstitute.com or call 629-329-3161. That's 629, I'm sorry, I said the number wrong. 629-230-3161. 230-3161. It's the Beckman Dry Eye Institute.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and we're watching those storms heading this way from Kentucky. They have prompted some tornado warnings there for south central Kentucky. Looks like those tornado warnings, at least one of them still in effect, going to be way east to a couple of, well, at least one county east of Bowling Green. This line of showers and thunderstorms we're watching is moving to the south. It is what has prompted the National Weather Service to put the upper half of Middle Tennessee, basically everybody from Murfreesboro and Centerville north, under a severe thunderstorm watch until midnight tonight. And any storms that do develop, there's a very low risk that they will produce a tornado in Middle Tennessee, but something we'll have to watch. President Trump says today the U.S. is prepared to continue to attack Iran.
Nobody knows, except the Iranians, the damage that we've done to them. We have done damage that will take them 20, 25 years to recover from. So if we left tomorrow, we had a big success. But we're not leaving tomorrow.
And the Pentagon asking for an additional $87 billion to fund the war. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth telling a congressional panel U.S. service members facing challenges that haven't been faced by prior generations.
Without these funds, we face critical shortfalls that threaten our ability to also simply pay our service members, rapidly replenish equipment and munitions, and sustain vital operations without disruption.
And Democrat Patty Murray of Washington chiming in saying the war is not popular with the majority of Americans.
This administration will not tell the public or Congress the true financial costs of this war, but we know it is very well into the tens of billions of dollars. Tax dollars we could have spent helping people afford health care.
Tonight in Nashville, Metro Council expected to take final votes on legislation, 2 ordinances that would put strict regulations on new data centers. And the mayor's office says it's still trying to obtain the land near the zoo, which D.C. Blocks closed on last week to build a data center. And still no definitive confirmation as to the source of the cyclosporiasis outbreak that has led thousands of people to get sick with explosive diarrhea. The FDA says its investigation has led them to lettuce supplied by Taylor Farms, sourced from Mexico. Taylor Farms supplies to supermarkets, fast food restaurants, and even Cisco, which distributes to schools and hospitals. We get more from ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
This recall does include market-side brand lettuce sold at Walmart, which tell us that it took immediate steps to remove these products from shelves. Jack in the Box and Taco Bell also say that they have removed all affected lettuce. And Cisco and U.S. Foods, which distribute food to schools and hospitals, tell us that they have stopped deliveries too.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, still got to Highway 109 northbound shutdown between Hickory Ridge Road and Bluegrass Parkway. That's due to that serious crash over there in Lebanon. And in Dixon, got an injury wreck 40 westbound just west of I-840. It's still bumper to bumper trying to get through the construction northbound 65 through Goodlettsville. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, folks. Matt Murphy's show. It is flying by this Tuesday edition, July 21st. Thank you for being with us, whatever time you're able to give us. We're certainly appreciative. Open phone lines right now at 9 after the hour, 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986. I have an unfinished answer to a question asked of me last hour. I've not forgotten about you. I've got the map up here, and I'm going to explain to you where District Number 6 is. I guess this wasn't a telephone question. It was actually a super text question, but we take those very seriously as well. And we appreciate all of your questions and comments coming in on the super text line, 615-737-9986. Obviously, I'm laser focused on statewide elections, but we have not forgotten national politics. We've not forgotten what's going on across the country and around the globe. I'm a little behind the curve here on the Taylor Farms issue. Jackson, is Weaver busy back there?
What you need there, Brother Murphy?
Hey, Ken, I know you get busy during the latter portions of the broadcast today.
Okay.
But help me. I just want to make sure I'm not misinforming the public, and you've been talking about this all afternoon.
Okay.
So Taylor Farms is now saying they're not responsible for the explosive diarrhea?
No, the FDA says that they, when they announced that they had a positive cyclosporiasis test on Taylor Farms lettuce, that was actually a false positive.
Okay.
However, Taylor Farms has still pulled all of that lettuce. So has Walmart. They pulled their lettuce from this same area. And Taco Bell and Jack in the Box are no longer serving anything that could be related to where that lettuce came from in central Mexico.
So we're a little bit back to square one.
We are back to square one. They do not definitively know the exact source of the parasite.
How many states?
34 states, including Tennessee.
Do we know how many cases in Tennessee, Ken?
It was reported that there may have been up to 30 in Tennessee. And then Nashville's Department of Health was reporting up to 10 cases.
Well, is this exclusively out of the rear? There's no reversals, or
there is reversals.
Okay, there's reversal.
Yes,
too.
sir. But it's just apparently the real danger is the painful, explosive diarrhea.
So what's a reversal?
It's throwing up.
That's throwing up.
Okay.
That's throwing up.
Just say that then. When I'm governor, we will use words for the common man, not this reversal stuff.
Have you put your gubernatorial, which is, by the way, one of my favorite words to say. It's like, y'all, I say it a lot because I love saying it, and I admit it. It is like a party in my mouth, and everyone's invited. I mean, say it. Just if you're in your automobile, your homes, your places of business, just say it along with me now. Just feel it float over the tongue. Gubernatorial. Say it, Jackson.
Gubernatorial.
Yeah.
But I don't ever want you to describe it the way you just did.
Gubernatorial. Do you have your gubernatorial walk-up song on the wall?
Not yet.
The Hail to the Chief
We're
Kazoo
waiting
song?
for the general.
That's right. That's right. We're holding our water here, folks. But after the primary, on August 6th, we are launching the Jackson for Governor. I'm just trying to figure out which nickname we're going to use. I kind of like Action Jackson for governor, but then there's Reaction Jackson. There's J. Willie. There's Y2J for the younger generation out there. I don't know which we should use. What would be a good slogan? We need to come up with a slogan for your campaign.
Whatever it is, it's not going to be what you said a minute ago.
What did I say a minute ago?
It's a party in my mouth and everybody's invited.
No, I'm saying you say the word gubernatorial and it's like a party in my mouth and everyone's invited. It's like I just had a big old mouthful of Pop Rocks.
I love Pop Rocks.
They're fun.
Yeah, especially the multi-flavored.
There's
I don't like just grape ones. I like the red, the purple, and I think they have yellow ones too.
I like the patriotic Pop Rocks.
Do you?
The red, white, and the blue.
Mm-hmm. I can't tell you the last time I've had Pop Rocks. I've enjoyed them when I've had them.
Wait a minute. They're not the same as Nerds, are they?
No, the Pop Rocks, put them in there and they explode.
Oh, they crackle.
Yeah, they explode.
Yeah, I forgot about those.
Yeah, now Nerds, that's a different deal. Let me tell you, those Nerds clusters that we have in the commissary area of Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Yeah, it costs $10.
Yeah, they're delicious.
They are.
I've only had them when Jackson has used his large inheritance or whatever. I don't know how he's funding his Nerds habit, but I mean, because they are like $4, aren't they?
I stopped eating those a long time ago.
The only time I've had them was when you've offered me some, and they're good.
They're pretty good.
Expensive, yeah.
But they're very
They
expensive.
are very good.
I'll bring us some Pop Rocks in. Pop Rocks and RC Cola for everybody.
Ooh, I love an RC Cola.
Everybody on. No Action Jackson. We've done enough. Oh, I like this. The suggestion is that you call yourself No Action Jackson and that your slogan be, your government's done enough.
But I want to do stuff.
Like, what do you want to do, Jackson?
Take over Mississippi.
Okay.
Abolish Vanderbilt football.
All right.
Probably baseball, too.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Basketball can stay because Tennessee needs somebody to beat.
All right. And?
There's a bunch of other stuff. Oh, all tax dollars now go to Tennessee's NIL.
And then, and there's something about Tanzania. We're taking over Tanzania.
Yeah, we're tough on Tanzania.
Oh, we're going to be tough on Tanzania.
And we are, anytime Kirby Smart steps foot into the state of Tennessee, he will be arrested.
This is new. What do you mean he'll be arrested?
He will be arrested.
What are you going to do when we come to the Music City Bowl? Oh, see, that's I did that to myself. You see what I did?
He will be arrested. It'll be the halftime show.
Uh-huh.
He'll get to see what all of his players have gone through.
Yeah, so, and you know what they're going to arrest him for? A slave trade, because he has owned a Josh Heupel and the Tennessee Volunteers since he's been the head coach of the University of Georgia.
Oh, he's getting arrested.
Irwin, speaking of people getting arrested, Irwin wants to talk about naked men.
Lately I noticed that you're talking about naked man fever or something, whatever you call it. You've been mentioning it frequently. Now, how about, let me remind you of back in the early 90s, there was a country songwriter woman. Nobody was buying her songs. She tried so hard, poor lady, to BMI, but she would never get her song get published. So she come up with an idea. What's the idea? She went on butt naked, walking on 16th Avenue on Music Row with only her boots on and a guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, she was butt naked. I don't know if y'all remember that or not. So I just want to let you know that.
Well, Irwin, you know the difference between being naked and being buck naked.
Well,
I do. I mean, I'll tell you. If you're naked, you don't have any clothes on. And if you're buck naked, you got no clothes on and you're up to something.
Well, no, then she was naked. She got only boots on and guitar. Otherwise, she was. It was, and the following day, I guess it was this same radio station or a different one. She got a reaction from Hollywood.
Erwin, I'm gonna have to aim these jokes lower because I think that one went right over your head. Thank you for the call. I appreciate you, Erwin. God bless you. Love you. Long time. Yeah.
I liked Irwin's accent.
I did too.
Was that Cajun?
I should have asked Erwin where he was from.
He sounded like he was from Louisiana.
Well, call Jackson back and tell him where you're from, Erwin. Jackson loves those repeat callers.
We should. No, I'm not going to do it.
In answer to the question asked regarding the new congressional district lines adopted May 7th of 20 and 26, someone said that they're new to the state of Tennessee and where's district number 6. All I can do is give you counties. I tell you what I can do, though. No, I take that
What's
back.
that, Brother Murphy?
I can move this over here and we can put it up on the TV.
Well, there you go.
How about that? So Jackson, throw that up on the TV for us. So if you're watching on Super Talk Television, then you can see the Tennessee U.S. congressional map as adopted May 7th of 20 and 26 in the year of our Lord. And so on the 6th district, right here, you'll see. There you go. I guess you can't see me doing my little pen. That's probably asking too much. So you can see my cursor though. All right, right here.
There you go.
So we got a little portion of Davidson County because we got to split Davidson County into 3 because there's a bunch of liberals that live there. There's Davidson County. So you got a little portion of 7 in Davidson. You got some 6 in Davidson, and then you got this 4 coming into Davidson right here. Scott Desjardins hates that. He hates that little nubby of green that is the 4th congressional district. And then that's the new district number 9 all across the southern border and going up into Williamson County. All right, but you asked about District 6. So you got Davidson. Then you got these 2 little blobs that's in Sumner County. One blob represents Johnny Garrett's house. The other blob represents Van Hillary's house, apparently. And I don't think I'm making that up either. I think that's actually true.
That's just their houses?
Well, I mean, it's just where they live. And so the drawers of the map knew that they were already in the 6th district. They drew Sumner County out of the 6th district as they did Trousdale and Macon. And so, I guess they decided to throw Garrett and Van Hillary a bone. I know that I'm right about Garrett. I might be wrong about Van Hillary in terms of living in Sumner County. So Wilson County, that's all of 6. And then Smith, DeKalb, White, Putnam, Jackson, Clay, Overton, Pickett, Fentress, Cumberland, Morgan, and Scott. All of those counties are in 6. Half of Campbell and a little bitty portion of, what is that, Rhea?
Ray.
R-H-E-A. Ray?
Probably Ray County.
Ray County.
With my luck, it's Rhea.
Little portion of Rhea County has 6 in it for some reason. No idea why that nub is there. But that's district number 6 for you. And that probably made a lot more sense if you're watching on Talk TV. You Talk TV folks have it easy. Those on the radio, you just have to envision these counties in your mind's eye. If you have any other questions about the new congressional maps, I'm here all the evening until 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The big Osite Day VIP event has sold out. We told you it was going to sell out, and it did sell out, and that's wonderful, and we feel good about those of you who got tickets to the Friday limited access, limited availability event. But never you fear, because we got a new event coming up, and that's Saturday, August 8th, day after Osite Day is happening, open to the public from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can get hands-on range time with a new Osite optic. With the new Osite optics available to you at the Glock store, you can't go wrong, friends. In-store discounts on Osite, great Osite raffle giveaways, free swag with Osite while supplies last, and food trucks on site and ready to serve. There's always something going on at the Glock store, and this is yet another example of that. Friends, if you've never been, you got to go. It is the finest gun establishment that I've ever walked through, and you add to that the finest performance rooms that I've ever been a part of, right? And I say performance rooms because that's truly what they do. These are not shooting lanes. I mean, I'll never go back to a shooting lane again. The Shoot 270 dynamic creates a performance atmosphere that they can set up different targets, they can set up different scenarios, and they can help you be a better shooter at shoot270.com, glockstore.com. Go to O-Site Days on Saturday, August the 8th. You'll be glad that you did, and tell them that Matt Murphy sent you to the one and only Glock Store.
Hear Republican gubernatorial candidate Monty Fritz talk about the China angle his GOP opponents are pushing in their campaign ads. Also, the day's closing money news coming up at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You'll hear that newscast from Ken Weaver coming up in just moments. My name is Matt Murphy. We'd love to hear from you throughout the course of the evening. We've got 34 more minutes to go or so, 615-737-9986. I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Charlie Hatcher received as endorsements go, this is a pretty big one, an endorsement from a former Republican governor of the state. Hatcher is former Tennessee Commissioner of Agriculture, is challenging Representative Andy Ogles in the upcoming Republican primary in the 5th Congressional District, a district that I live in. You'd think Andy would want to be on the show. Now, I suppose in his defense, I've not invited him, but he can come on anytime he wants. Any of you candidates can. But it feels like Andy is only available when there's one particular and specific issue that Andy wants to talk about. And it oftentimes feels like it's stupid. Like, we're going to give Donald Trump a third term or that kind of crap. What? Am I wrong? I'm sorry, I don't mean to. I think we were just lost it, man. I'm not trying to be nasty. I'm trying to be. I'm as honest as I can be. It's just all performance based. Just, I don't know. Charlie Hatcher is receiving the endorsement of Haslam, who calls him authentic and someone who, quote, will be a leader on day one in Congress. His common sense approach to getting back to the basics of what made our country great is refreshing. I'm honored to stand with Charlie Hatcher, Haslam said. The outlet reported, according to, and I'm reading from the Tennessee Star, which is reporting from the Williamson Herald. The outlet reported Hatcher got campaign advice from the former governor. I sought Governor Now, let me say this. Let me give Andy Ogles the honey, okay? I just cracked the whip. Let me give him the honey. Hatcher's run kind of a crappy campaign, right? I mean, you got to spend more of that money, Charlie. You got to spend some of that milk money. I'm seeing a few signs and whatever, and you know, maybe the shakeup of this district changes the dynamic. I don't know. I've never felt like that Charlie Hatcher's campaign has gotten any. I don't feel. You know what I don't feel like it has? I don't feel like it has any
gravitas.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I will bring gravitas to the governor's mansion.
Well, thank you, Jackson. Glad to hear it.
I'm thinking a pool table and an iRacing rig in the basement.
How do you know it doesn't already have one? You've never been. I've been. Twice.
Is it there?
Nope. Not that I saw. I've been I got to go in the foyer or whatever they call it, and I got to go in some sunroom where I sat with Governor Bill Lee and talked to him about a couple of things.
They got a foosball table?
I never saw a foosball table, Ken, but what kind of governor's mansion are we talking about that doesn't have a foosball table?
What's the TV
table?
situation like?
I never saw a television.
You mean?
Weird. I bet I got more TVs in my house than he's got in the governor's mansion. What do you think?
Do they have to take their TVs with them?
I'm going to guess, Jackson, that those televisions stay at the governor's mansion.
Is the governor obligated to live in the governor's mansion while he's in office?
That's a great question. Didn't we ask this question of the presidency when Donald Trump won his first election? I know I did.
I think so, yeah.
Because there was a question as to whether or not he would want to downgrade.
All right.
So, no, I don't. I would bet, without knowing, that there is no obligation. Although, you know, nowadays with security concerns,
they didn't have to in Idaho.
I would bet you that there's no obligation for the governor to live in the governor's mansion.
They figured if they're going to make you live in Idaho, you don't have to.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're going to let you choose your house.
Right. Governor of Idaho, doesn't everybody get a crack at it?
Yeah, Ken, when was your term?
I feel like there's just kind of a rotator.
It ended after that 2006 Fiesta Bowl.
Woo! 2006 Fiesta Bowl.
I
Boise.
still haven't gotten over that.
Was that against Oklahoma?
Yes, sir.
Were you in Idaho?
Yes, sir.
Oh, how is it that we've worked together for almost 5 years and this has never come up?
Because I've been trying to suppress bad memories.
Oh,
happy thoughts, Ken. Happy thoughts.
That is the worst.
It was terrible.
Ever.
They held a big celebration on a Saturday that my station sanctioned, and I had to go to it.
Were you a KBOI?
Yes, sir.
Were y'all the Boise?
Yes, sir.
Y'all were the flagship?
Yes, sir.
And what are they, the Broncos?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
They got that Smurf turf.
You had to be there?
I had to go to it. It was a big celebration. They freaking had thousands of people there. You'd think they never won a football game before.
Oh, Ken, this is the best story I've never heard. This is all. Oh, it sounds horrible. It sounds horrible.
It was a terrible day.
I would not have been a gracious winner like I'm sure you were, Ken.
I was.
I guarantee you Ken just kept it professional as he would do. I would not have done so. I mean, that would be like this radio station, Supertalk 99.7 WTN, carrying the Vanderbilt games. And somehow Vanderbilt beating the University of Georgia Bulldogs in like a playoff
like a
game.
national championship.
Or a
playoff
like
game.
a playoff game.
Yeah.
And then the station requiring us to go and interview fans and coaches, and players. And I have to sit there and act like I would have refused.
Dude, they had the mayor of Boise, the governor of Idaho, and then like some senators reading proclamations.
It's like nobody knows. So nobody knows, or very few people, I would imagine. I mean, did people know your allegiance?
Oh, yes.
Oh, they did. Oh, that's unfortunate. See, because I felt like if they didn't know, you just keep quiet about it. But if they know,
But
that's absolutely
it was okay.
amazing.
I actually liked Coach Pete. I sat by him in church.
Was that the what do they call that? The hook and ladder?
That was they ran like 4 straight trick plays, and every one of them worked.
Is it hook and ladder or hook and lateral?
Hook and ladder.
I've heard hook and ladder.
Yeah, hook and ladder, but it's a hook and lateral.
Right, but yeah. But because the one player hooks, you throw it to that guy, and the guy's cutting across as you throw it to that guy, and he immediately laterals it back to the other guy.
We're going to hook and ladder it to the newsroom.
By the way, Ken, thank you for allowing us to tell that story during your news time.
Here's one more bad thing about that. The kid that ran the hook and ladder into the end zone to tie up the game, he was dating my intern.
So you knew the fella?
Yes.
This had to be an otherworldly hell for Ken.
It was terrible.
I bet Ken thought about quitting and going to work for Wendy's.
I thought about getting hypnotized where I wouldn't like football anymore.
Oh, that's brutal. That's brutal. And then, you know what? After Ken Weaver's newscast, let's reminisce about the Rose Bowl of Oklahoma's.
I don't want to do that one either.
Baker Mayfield was the quarterback for the Oklahoma Sooners. I believe my Georgia Bulldogs were involved in that game.
I'm going to try an onside kick before halftime.
It's time.
Idiot.
It's time for the news.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Still tracking these storms north of Nashville in Kentucky, slowly creeping to the south. They're going to be here in Middle Tennessee here in a couple of hours. And all of the upper half of Middle Tennessee is under a severe thunderstorm watch until midnight tonight. There is a very low risk that these storms will produce a tornado here in Middle Tennessee, something we'll have to watch. Election 2026, Republican gubernatorial candidate Monty Fritz on WTN's Matt Murphy Show talks about the China angle as GOP opponents are pushing in their campaign ads.
From the fortune cookie commercial on, there's been lots of attention on that matter. And I would just tell you, I think it's a red herring so that those candidates don't have to debate and so that they don't have to talk about issues that Tennesseans really are concerned about.
However, Fritz does say there are conversations to be had over whether more needs to be done about full foreign ownership or long lease of companies in Tennessee. Money News.
A renewed optimism in artificial intelligence motivated markets higher. The Dow added 361 points. The Nasdaq gained 329. The S&P rose 65. Micron Technology jumped 12% thanks to a Bank of America note suggesting low-cost, open-source Chinese AI models could increase demand for memory chips. The gains were in spite of rising oil prices. The cost of a barrel of Brent settled at $91, up from less than $72 earlier this month. According to a new analysis from the Nonpartisan Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, an estimated 4 million Americans were dropped from the Federal Food Assistance Program, SNAP, since last July. And a federal judge has approved a $1.5 billion copyright settlement between Anthropic and thousands of authors whose pirated books were used to train the Claude AI chatbot.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, over in Lebanon, Highway 109 northbound is still closed due to that crash. Hickory Ridge Road and Bluegrass Parkway. Then in Dixon, still showing an injury accident, 40 westbound, just west of I-840. And it's still pretty slow going, getting through that construction, northbound 65 at Goodlettsville. I'm Ken Weaver.
You know, one of the things with all of the rain coming through, popping up thunderstorms during the summertime months, we don't talk about this enough when we talk about pest control. When the bugs get washed out of the yard, they want to come into your home, and they try to come into your home. And if you let them come into your home, they're going to take over. You need to stop all of this through U.S. Pest. U.S. Pest can eliminate bug infestation. They can eliminate bug invasion in your home with a simple telephone call. Get one of their qualified technicians out to you. Now, I've mentioned in the past that J.K. and Erica Brist are fine Americans. They're great business owners, and they're great people to work for. And if you're looking for an employment opportunity, they're always hiring at U.S. Pest, and they're always available to you with a free inspection, termite and pest control inspection with U.S. Pest. If you currently have pest service and you're just not satisfied, you keep seeing bugs around, or if you don't have pest service, you need it in Tennessee. I promise you, you do. It's time to call the experts, U.S. Pest. They love the United States of America, and they hate bugs. USPest.com, USPest.com, or call 590-1260, 590-1260. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Show. Let's get to a few things of an important nature on the national and international scene. I mean, obviously, nationally, I think the big story running nationally is the explosive diarrhea story, which we've been covering for you like explosive diarrhea. In international news, Iran is warning the United States of America and its allies of retaliation and says that we will hit a nuclear site if you do not stop what you're doing. Iran's top joint military command said today that U.S. interests and those of its allies in the region would be targeted if Washington attacks Iran's nuclear facilities, according to Iranian state media. The command warned the U.S. interests and its supporters that it would face a quote, powerful assault if the U.S. Carried out an attack against areas called Pickaxe Mountain. This came after President Trump said the U.S. would be hitting Pickaxe Mountain pretty soon. My question is why we've not hit Pickaxe Mountain before now. If it's such a strategic strike, and it had, I mean, I'm not trying to play dumb here. I just genuinely don't understand because we've been told on multiple occasions, once again, the fog of war is important to understand. Secondarily, they should not be telling us everything that they're trying to do or everything that they're doing. But how many times, and this coming from someone, well, you guys know my bona fides. I just don't understand in the context of this specific situation how many times I need to be told we've hit every military site there is to hit. We've destroyed them militarily. All the military sites are down. And then here, almost 5 months into the engagement, into the 8-week engagement, I'm now told, we're going to hit Pickaxe Mountain, which is a major nuclear site. Well, why haven't we hit that before? War Secretary Pete Hegseth forcefully rejected claims that the United States started the war in Iran, telling lawmakers that Tehran has been attacking Americans for decades and argued that the regime bears responsibility for the conflict. During an exchange with Senator Chris Holland, Hegseth pushed back against the senator criticizing the administration's handling of the war earlier today, referenced the secretary's comments about winning the conflict. I would note militarily, well, you guys don't need me to. You don't need me to say it when y'all can hear it from them yourselves. Stand by, and I will get it to you. Here's the exchange between this dunderhead Holland and the Secretary of War Pete Hegseth with regard to whether or not we started the conflict in Iran.
A lot about this war has dragged out for a lot longer than certainly the president and I talked about winning throughout the Iran war, and we all like winning. But I think the American people deserve a definition of what it means to win in Iran, because this war has dragged out for a lot longer than certainly the President of the United States indicated. Indeed, the President said on March 24th, and I'm quoting, "We've won this war. This war has been won." Do you know what the President meant by that back in March?
Well, Senator, I would just note that militarily, I mean, Iran has been completely overmatched and crushed from the beginning, militarily. Their capabilities are nowhere near ours. I would take issue with your characterization that we started this war. Iran started this war 47 years ago, and they've killed thousands of Americans, including our brothers on the battlefield in Iraq. Iran has been targeting us for a long time.
All right, so and the exchange kind of devolved from there. So Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, despite the fact, I find it ironic that they characterized him as Secretary of Defense in his little placard there in front of him as he testified earlier today before the United States Senate Committee. But yes, his contention is that Iran started the war 47 years ago. If that's the case, I mean, that's new, right? I mean, I understand Iran has been a thorn in our side. Iran has been picking at the United States of America for a long time. And obviously, they did things back in the day, 47 years ago and beyond, that we detest, that are terrorist and terrorist adjacent. And there needs to be some sort of pushback against those things in real time. But Pete Hegseth is now saying, well, the United States of America did not start the current conflict. The current conflict started 47 years ago, and it's been ongoing since then. When Donald Trump became president of the United States in 2016, when he was inaugurated in 2017, I never heard him talk about ending the war with Iran. I mean, we can support the president and we can support the American military and we can support stopping nations that have evil in their hearts from doing bad things to other nations in the region that they are in or around the globe through their terrorist proxies. We can hate Iran and everything that it represents. We can hate Hezbollah and Hamas and everything that they represent and the funding mechanisms that Iran moves money from their country to these terrorist organizations. We can hate all of those things and not play pretend about this. We engaged in Iran because we wanted to stop a nuclear threat. That's what I was told. Now we're being told, oh, well, this war's been going on for 47 years. Well, that's a long war. And we've kind of ignored it. I'm just so concerned that this is going to kill us in November. And for what? What are we gaining? Just today, our president said, "Oh, we're gonna take down Pickaxe Mountain. That's a major nuclear installation." Why didn't we do that 3 months ago? And maybe there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for why we didn't. I'm here to hear it. It's Bonnie's turn. Hello, Bonnie. How are you?
Hello. I didn't know I was going to be on here so quick. No, being that I just turned the radio on. Being that you're talking about Donald Trump, I'm a little bit, I don't have anything, like I said, I don't come from a family that does all this politicking, but my family were Democrats. But what I'm hearing from people that did vote for Trump and people that are kind of in between, people are just fed up with Donald Trump because Donald Trump is just nothing but a mouth. All he wants to do is run his mouth and say he's going to do this for the American people and he's not going to do this or he's going to do... He don't do crap for us. And I'm sick of it. And the food prices are still not going down. And you know what? You can laugh about it all you want, make fun of it, man. I know it's your radio station and you do a great job. You get paid well for what you do. I understand that. But, he stood up and begged people to vote for him. And I really feel embarrassed for our country that the young people voted for this man. And they're riding around pumping gas, at $3.79 up here in Manchester. And the food prices, milk $4 a gallon. And, it's sick. It's really sick. He's not really doing anything for us. And I'm just really pissed off about it.
What do you want him to be doing, Bonnie?
I want him to do what he said he was going to do. What's he want to do dicking around with that darn country up there?
Bonnie, you got to watch your mouth. All right, you can't be on the radio if you can't control your mouth.
Well,
what? Don't you understand that you have to control your mouth? Come on, y'all. Bonnie, love you long time. Appreciate you. Watch your mouth. I'm the only one that gets to say things like that. Did you hear what she said? Did you let it slide?
Nope, hit the button.
Probably for the best. 51 after the hour on Super Talk. Hi, friends. Matt Murphy for Efficient Heating and Cooling. Efficient Heating and Cooling is your one-stop shop for all things cool air in your home. Come on now. Or in your place of business. I don't mention that enough. Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling want to come out to your house and make sure the AC is running right. If it's not running properly, they can help you. Efficient Heating and Cooling, a small company with big results. The best way to head off costly repairs, breakdowns, or even more expensive early replacement is to get Jeff Eddy on your side and on your team right now. 615-784-4424, 784-4424, or efficienthvac.net. Efficienthvac.net. Hi, friends. Matt Murphy for Grace Point Healthcare. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. At Grace Point Healthcare, no long wait times. They don't make you wait when they're scheduling an appointment, and they sure as heck don't make you wait when you get there. They don't believe in it. At Grace Point Healthcare, they're a direct pay primary care facility. That means you pay Grace Point, and you can file with your insurance company for reimbursement. This is the better way of doing it. It's the way that it happened for a long, long time, and sadly, we got away from that. And when we did, suddenly the insurance companies are like in the room with you, making decisions, whether they're there physically or not. That's what happens at some of these places. The doctor bases his medical treatment decisions based on what he believes insurance will take care of and what they won't. That's not the way to run a railroad. That's not the way to run a medical practice. That's why Grace Point does it the way that they do it. Plus, their Smart Care plan handles all of your basic needs for you for $99 a month for the grown-ups, $79 a month for the kids. And obviously, if you've got any ailment or injury, you need treatment quickly, and they'll get to you quickly. They treat the whole body with a holistic approach, and I appreciate that. 599-6868, 599-6868. Grace Point Healthcare. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My apologies to Bonnie. We had to cut you short there, Bonnie. It was not because we might have had a disagreement on that Trump front. I do not believe that Donald Trump has been a bad president. I do believe that perhaps if there has been a misstep, I mean, there's no perfect people on earth, right? I'm fascinated with the number of people that get very angry, viscerally angry at me for disagreeing with Trump on the Iran front. From the beginning, I said, I'm hopeful that they know something that I don't know. I have a hard time believing this 8-week time frame. Obviously, that made sense. We've moved the goalpost. I would be destroying Joe Biden for moving the goalpost the way we've moved the goalpost on this. We engaged and said that it was an 8-week campaign strictly for nuclear facilities and it wasn't about regime change. Then we hoped to facilitate regime change, and then now we're 5 months in, folks. I remain hopeful that we will have a positive outcome. I remain hopeful that we will destroy all of their nuclear capabilities. I remain hopeful that the people of Iran will rise up and destroy this evil bastard regime and replace it with something more democratic. But I'm fascinated with the number of people that attack me personally because I take umbrage with the way that this is going. 9777, there you go again. I'm tuning out. And I said, why? Because I think for myself? Tell me why my concerns aren't valid. And his response was, you're so arrogant, that's why people don't like you. Well, that might be all well and good and true, but why attack me personally? Are my concerns not valid here? Or do you not share the concerns that I share on this front? By the way, Matt Murphy won nincompoops in the news tonight. I did too, because people were voting for me. They were saying that Jackson's the nincompoop of the news. I kept seeing Jackson. No, that's
and I won the YouTube.
Those votes for me. Those are votes for me.
I won, brother.
I don't know. I think if they were saying Jackson, they were saying Jackson's the nincompoop. Go Murphy.
No.
I don't know. 1221 says, I want to take Bonnie and Mike from Old Hickory out for dinner and drinks. Off the chain crazy. Yeah, you're telling me. All right. That's going to wrap it up for us. I've had fun on this Tuesday. Who knows what will happen tomorrow? I know this. We're done for the next 20 hours or so. Back at 3 tomorrow for Jackson Williams, Ken Weaver.